The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
You know, since we were put into Entertainment Weekly's top 5 top horror podcasts that you should listen to, our phone's been ringing off the hook. And now the phone has rung off the hook for a very special guy that we have here this week. We have the former editor of Fangoria magazine joining us tonight, Tony Timpone. Man, this is going to be an awesome show. Finally, an interview that even I can get involved in. So, strap on and hello. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 165 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and we also talk to horror icons, as we're about to do this evening as we talk to Tony Timpone. It's exciting.
I'm very exciting.
You should feel these nipples, man.
Oh, they're like, oh my lord!
I know,
they're like,
right?
They're like fucking bologna spears.
I like bologna gumdrops better, but you know, hey, that works.
The fucking shop. I cut myself.
MZ, this is like one of the guests that you're probably most looking forward to.
Man, I haven't had any actual contact with Tony Timpone since 1990.
Look behind you. What the fuck? We do also have a guest coming up
Did you
later.
take my fucking closet? What the hell?
But we do have a special co-host in studio who is dressed to the nines. Tom C.
That's me.
What are you doing?
He's going to be getting me a beer pretty soon. That's what he's going to be
Dressed to
doing.
the zeros.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You look snazzy.
I know. Holy shit.
Did you seriously raid his closet, MZ's closet?
Perhaps.
Please tell me you didn't buy that. I hope you had that at least.
Perhaps.
He's wearing the same exact thing I wore.
Because they're your clothes.
He's wearing the same fucking thing. There is not a thing different about what he's wearing that I wore that night in New York.
I stole it and I had it.
Well-
I had it tailored.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it's a smaller size shirt for sure.
You look good, Tom. C.
Yeah, you
I
do.
know. You kind of make the outfit look respectable.
God, he's a better looking version of you than you.
Well, everybody's a better looking version of me.
Everybody's a better version. Look, me.
You're a good looking guy too.
So Dynamo is on his way. I think he ran into a pack of zombies along the way. So
Or a Subway.
a pack of rabid Jareds.
Bad times.
He ran into a price chopper and he can't find his way out.
Get to the price chopper.
Got your ass to the price chopper. That's what Dynamo's doing right now.
Commercial. Why don't they do that?
I don't know. Let's get him on the hook. Get him on the hook. Price
Seriously.
chopper. They're right down the road. All right. We have lots of people hanging out in the chat room already. This is fucking awesome. Dynamo says he's here and locked out. Can one of you guys go?
Yeah, I'll go get him. Yeah, I just looked.
I didn't lock the door. I don't know if one of you guys did.
Yeah, well, why would we want Dynamo in?
So we have a bunch of people hanging out in the chat room. We have David Stevens, who gave us that awesome question about Saturday morning cartoons last week. I'm sorry, Jethronomicon is what I mean.
Yeah.
We also have Melissa hanging out.
Nice.
We have Lee. Lee must be a first-time viewer. I'm not familiar with Lee.
Oh, I had a friend named Lee. He cast a spell on me.
That's me. That's me under a different name.
No, it's not. We also have fucking Wooberman.
Oh, snap!
It's 2 a.m. and Wooberman is hanging out.
Shit.
Jesus Christ, Wooberman. What are you doing? Thank you, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I don't know if we're worth staying up that late,
Yeah.
but we appreciate it.
Thank
Or maybe
you.
he's just like trying to get to sleep, and this is the way he does it.
Oh, yeah. Nathan Coy Vance Duke is hanging out in the chat room, and he says Dynamo's probably protesting the review of Contracted 2.
I wish.
Your mic's off.
I still wish.
Well, at least we know where he stands with the film now.
I don't know. No, you're right.
He's pulling a Raven Shadow, only a little bit closer to the due date.
Dynamo, look at this fucking guy.
I know he's very handsome always.
Who does he look like?
Huh?
Who does that outfit resemble?
I can't see that high.
He looks like Blackstone the Magician.
Favorite.
What did this fucking guy wear to his award show?
Oh yeah, no, he does. Just look very nice. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say famous Marvel Mort, as a good friend Quack would call him, turn
Yeah.
a D-century.
Oh, the more of the month column.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee is a first-time live listener. Lee is hanging out in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
We're sorry you didn't have anything better to do on a Wednesday evening, but we appreciate you hanging out. Wooberman says, I can't masturbate to this. And he says, no, wait, never mind. Tom C is doing it for me.
England's fucking weird.
Let me
right?
let me move out of the way.
You look slamming.
Thank you. I if you look at the monitor, I feel like a foot taller than everyone.
If you want the short chair, you can
Look
get
at how
the.
good you looked that one time.
I know, huh?
And
and I haven't been the same since.
I know. What is?
Just to bring you up to speed, I did raid his wardrobe.
Yes,
Then I had it tailored, and here we go.
because it was about 4 sizes too big.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, you should. You really shouldn't take away any of his nice clothes because the guy shows up looking like his laundry year.
Are you saying you look better?
I'm saying that I was dressed exactly like you when I had hospital clothes on.
It's called comfort, man.
When I raided his closet, there was an awful lot of jorts.
It's called comfort.
Actually, at least I have
Jorts and
pants with a
cutoffs.
button on, Monster Zero.
Jorts and cut off sweatpants.
Daisy
You don't
Dukes,
wear
actually.
you don't wear sweatpants in I'm going to tell you like you don't wear sweatpants in 2015 unless you're going to the gym, and then you don't wear sweatpants probably still.
Yeah.
Like you just don't do it. It's just not what you do.
Jethronomicon says, I wonder whether Piccolo will be here tonight. I don't know. That'd be fucking cool. We love Pickle Loaf and the boys over at Sylvan
Piccolo,
Gold.
Yeah.
And Stephanie's hanging out in chat room. She says,
Hey, Steph.
Dynamo actually watches the movies.
You don't have to, Stephanie.
Yeah, there is the difference.
It was close.
In preparation for this show, I watched both Contracted. Thank you very much.
Did you go back and listen to our review on episode 78?
I did, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, so
I got
tonight...
to get furious all over again
Why?
when I went back and listened to that recently.
Buckle up, brother.
I listened to 72 episodes of Trick or Treat Radio
Yeah.
in the last few weeks.
I don't know why the fuck you did that.
Huh? Because I'm trying to get the best of together.
Well, I know why, but
Yeah.
still, you
it's
know.
it's a thankless job, I'll tell you that. Raven Shadow, never got any smarter. I thought maybe on second viewing.
Well, he actually... You used to have a bunch of taglines. You don't really use them anymore.
Bambaleo, oh my lord. We
Yeah.
haven't done that?
No.
This is exciting.
I'm not saying you should.
I'm gonna.
I'm not saying you should.
We're
but
trying to do some new stuff. I got Lee in the back. I mean, I'm trying to surprise
Hey,
some people.
Lee.
I don't know what that is, but it's creepy. I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit, Johnny. I learned something very interesting.
No, we're not wearing clothes, Dynamo.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I will not. I won't even turn on the light so you see our sexy silhouettes. I started to be a little more of, we'll say, the Dynamo character for the first 40 episodes of this show.
Yeah.
And Dynamo is kind of based on in a way, based on the, like, kind of real life stupid of two people I know. And then I realized it was completely overbearing because I'm already sitting with those stupid people. I could be a drunk that rhymes or a total, like a total grumpy shut-in. Well, they're already on the show. I might as well just be fat, dumb me.
All right, so tonight, exciting show. As we talked about, we have Tony Timpone is going to be on the show. If you're listening live, that's going to be around 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you're listening on the podcast, that'll be just over an hour from now.
When you pull into work.
When you pull into work, yeah. You have a long commute, you pull into work. We're also going to review the flick Contracted Phase 2. since Contracted 1 was such a huge hit. It probably is, no lie, one of our most popular episodes.
Really?
I would say
Or
it
most
is-
talked about, I should say.
I would
Yeah.
say it is our second. Like the beginning of it's a little shaky, but I would say it's probably just for that review is our second best episode.
Which,
What's our first?
You want to go back and hear a good episode where you will fucking howl from like the opening thing to when the cat comes on? Go listen to the Leprechaun episode.
That's pretty good.
I haven't listened to that one in a while.
It's got a good appearance by the Mars. It's got Tiny White derailing the
Oh, yeah.
review to the left and to the right because the Leprechaun doesn't wear leprechaun clothes. he is furious about it,
Yeah.
and then gets super furious. Like these guys don't see it much, but like it's the thing we get when we like tell Tiny that he has to like do something, like leave the house or play a show or something. Like it's that tone of voice. So he goes like this at one point. Wolfie goes, "All right, so that's my review." And now Monster Zero is going to say some stuff that's totally wrong and piss me off and try to defend this right now.
Hey, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't pissing people off.
I recently went back and listened to the Hong Kong invented snowboarding episode.
oh my God. Oh my fucking God.
I listened to that one too.
It was terrible.
Monster Zero says, it's like they, are saying that the Ming Dynasty invented snowboarding. And Raven Shadow's like, no, they're not. That's not what they're saying.
well, why else would it be in the movie?
Yeah, they invented extreme sports, didn't you know? They're the reason why the X Games exist.
Bing Bong Bounty Hunters.
I thought that was Professor Xavier's school.
Stephanie's in the chat room. She says, "Hi, MZ."
The fuck?
Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Stephanie's going to be up in a few weeks, huh?
It's true. I can't wait.
Nice.
Snap in studio.
Nice.
I wouldn't wish that on her, but
We'll see. Hopefully, that'll be awesome if she can make it.
yeah. Then she could reach across the table and slap these dudes right in the mug.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, and not slap you, right?
I never told her that I was going to take advantage of her and then leave money on the nightstand. That wasn't me.
And he also didn't say.
No, but you thought it.
Wait, who said that?
Monster Zero. To her. Not even like after when she wasn't on the show. Like to her.
So let me ask this: since we have a guest in the studio, Tom C. Since your last appearance, have the calls stopped? The fan mail, or does it keep rolling in?
Yes. It's been nonstop. The phone ringing off the hook.
Was your Nana proud of you?
Yeah, she called in. Remember?
Oh yeah,
is
she's a
true.
little
little
racist.
vulgar.
Yeah.
She comes from a different time.
Yeah, it's
It's like
cute.
the Grammy in this movie.
Oh, she was sweet.
You get along well with her, Raven. Shadow.
I would hang with that grandma. I'll
You
tell that.
sort of look like Mike Patton a little. That's what I'm seeing from down here.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Does he have the slicked hair and all
Yep.
that?
Yeah.
You were blowing up like fucking 7-Up
Mike-
up in this motherfucker.
Mike Patton is the only member of Faith No More who now doesn't look like me. It's ridiculous. If you look at him, it's like Mike Patton, Rowdy Bottom, and then two other like bald fat guys with gray beards. In Clutch, just 4 me's. Like everyone in Clutch looks like me. Or I look like everyone in Clutch. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
But yeah.
Hoo ha.
That song.
Got you all in check.
What's
All right.
How you? Is
Yeah, I don't think Al Pacino has a song.
You should though.
that? The scent of all women. Hoo-ha. The devil's advocate.
Jethro Nomicon says that's a very nice bow tie, very classy with the suspenders.
Oh, thank you. It wasn't my idea.
So seriously, no, Tom C. This is your second appearance on Trick or Treat Radio. The first one, it took what, 100 episodes or so?
150.
How long did it take between this and the last one?
10.
You're obviously not counting Zero.
And
The Halloween episode.
So about 158, maybe. I don't know.
Speaking of which, we have to start thinking about this fucking Halloween show coming up. The
a couple
Halloween,
things about it.
the Halloween podcast.
I got 30.
yeah.
I got 31 of them to think about. Oh, there's a show. Were you not here yet, Michael Raymond Shadow?
What?
There's a Deadite show with a venue.
Well, yeah.
We knew
I was-
last week.
Last week.
Right. I thought you were saying you didn't know.
But no, I think there's still some stuff to plan.
What?
Not so just fucking wing it.
It's not. Hey, no offense, and I will help this guy out because he helped me. But it's not my fucking show. This is Christmas. Like, I don't have to do anything except promote and show up. It's nice. I don't have to call fucking anybody.
Oh, good.
I don't have to try to listen to Beaver McD tell me about fucking smoking Commodore 64. It's like,
I get it. You like fucking Daredevil. Enough. He likes Daredevil, folks.
Yeah. So super excited. This should be a fun show. We got Tom C here in studio joining us. We have a review of Contracted Phase 2 coming up in just a few minutes, and then after that, we're going to talk to the horror fucking icon himself, Tony Timpone. Although he seems like a pretty, I think he'd downplay that. I don't know if he would. I think he's a humble guy. So
Paisan.
he is definitely an icon in horror, though.
you know, he
Absolutely.
is definitely a fucking demon.
A demon?
Because how does 1985 Tony look just like fucking 2015 Tony?
That's fair.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
he looks the
Yeah,
same.
the guy hasn't aged a bit.
Yeah, because I got it all. Ask him if he wants to take some back. I'm tired of holding it for him.
Does he have a photo of Dynamo in his basement?
I know. There's Adam.
He has like a wreath of garlic around Dynamo's picture and like casts and magic
Incantations.
words and incantations and magic words and oils and lubricants.
Jesus Christ, what?
I think that's what you have around that picture.
Maybe I do. So what?
Somebody's projecting.
You like girlfriend zero's like, don't touch that stuff. That's my stuff.
Wait, I gotta comment on this because it's fucking awesome. So things are a little tough here in Castle Wolfenstein with the cash flow, and so I asked everyone to pitch in last week because we didn't have enough Amazon contributions, and so everyone gave me $10. We had Raven Shadow gave me 2 5s. Dynamo sent me PayPal. What does Monster Zero do?
Give you a check.
Are you fucking shitting me? Can I see that?
He
No,
cuts
you
me
can't
a
see
fucking
that.
check.
What's wrong with a fucking check?
Are you fucking shitting me?
Hey,
No one uses them now. Do I have to
Really?
wait to deposit it?
It's like your fucking Nana. You fucking,
All jokes aside, Wolfie.
mitzvah.
Hey, hey, money's money,
yeah.
so I appreciate
Like
it. but-
all jokes aside, I was going to throw you some dough for throwing some dough's sake, and I'm still going to. But somewhere in my concussive head state, I lost my wallet today.
yeah.
And if it was
You
in the glove,
need to get a chain for your wallet.
if it was in the glove box, I would have wrote you a check.
Fanny pack.
Which scares me because now my checkbook's not in a glove box, my wallet's gone. It's like I don't know. Somebody's gonna like stealing my identity.
Indemnity.
Somebody's stealing my Chris Denby.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Look at how Tom C is dressed right now.
That's true.
I know how you feel. I can sympathize with you, man.
You used to have that mustache.
No.
Who are you talking about? Him?
You still have it, asshole.
I still have it.
Yeah.
He used
It's
to
true.
have that.
No, I never.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a mustache.
Man,
Yes,
I
but
look
not
big
like,
as a
not
house.
Like that. Not like that.
Man, I don't know why I look so fat. I mean, I know why.
We
but-
know why.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm supposed to be losing weight after.
What's up, buddy?
I have a shameful confession to make. I recently purchased something on Amazon, and I did.
Oh, you son of a-
Son of a bitch. The last time you did it, you brought it back.
I don't even know if it works, but I tried to purchase a movie, like a rental the other day.
And you want to know why you can't make it on the show all the time?
Well, you don't have to buy your way in.
No, honestly,
I'm trying to buy my way out.
It wasn't on purpose. I just keep forgetting that it's there. The link. So I'm sorry.
So you want to know the trick? You ready? Do you have a wish list?
I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
not
So
officially.
you make an Amazon
Threesome.
wish list, so it's there, right? And then, then it's all set up, like all the work is done for you. And then what I do is I go to trickortreatradio.com, click on the link for our Amazon affiliate. It doesn't cost me anything, Michael Raven Shadow.
But it helps keep the lights on.
Right. So, and then I will buy Roverjorx or whatever I want, or a new copy of Manborg because mine got wrecked by vandalism. So,
There you go. That was a nice segue into that ad. We have Jethronomicon says Raven Shadow has a Blue Oyster cult vibe happening tonight.
Oh, it's all about the fucking cowbell.
Stephanie says, "Damn, MZ is old enough that he still uses checks."
Yeah.
MZ only goes to stores where you have to like run the check through the shoe fitting thing.
Be glad I'm not using like $2 bills or gold bullions or something like that.
The
you know?
blooms.
He also has that vagina change purse.
He graduated high school
Yeah.
when I was 3.
Monster Zero called me the other day, and he was like, Dynamo, I go, what? He goes, I tried to use the Amazon link, but it didn't work. And I was like, what's the matter, buddy? He's like, I couldn't find the balloons button. There was only credit card.
Use
Couldn't
the
find-
Abacus app.
The Abacus app.
What?
It didn't let me
What is
pay-
this
it didn't
about
let me-
half a penny?
It didn't let me pay him wire transfer.
Jesus.
Look for the,
Western Union like a motherfucker.
It wouldn't take a box of old ECW VHS tapes.
where's the Aztec gold button?
What the fuck?
I gotta get rid of this cursed Aztec gold. Where's the fucking button?
Somebody has to tell me how to turn this One-Eye Willie's treasure into some Blu-rays. I know if this applies to contracted, so maybe somebody on the internet can answer, but it's really bothering me. It bothers me every week, and I don't bring it up. So, though I did stop there. I was almost to the show when I had to go home and get something, but every show, I stop at the 7-Eleven in town, right? The one that's right by the studio, right? And I see, without fail, one or two used condoms outside that 7-Eleven. So here's my question. Who is going to 7-Eleven to fuck?
I saw a used condom outside, what was it? Movie Stop in Leominster. I don't know if you guys know
But
that place.
still, this is on the main, it's like the fucking post office, 2 gas stations, the 7-Eleven, who is like, this is a good place to fuck.
Baby, listen, I know a
Yeah.
place.
There's a fucking hotel across the street, a motel thing. And they're like, 7-Eleven. And it's all lit up. Like, I don't understand.
You
Like,
live in this day and age, and you're surprised anyone might fuck in front of a 7-Eleven.
Was it Jane
yeah, but I
Silent Bob?
have a house, like, with a bed.
Well, here's the
Perhaps
thing you
they
haven't
do
addressed
not.
yet. Here's the thing you haven't addressed yet. When you go there, you see 2 condoms there. So it either means
It's in different places.
It's different. Oh, it's
Yeah.
one condom at one place.
Yeah,
one
on
condom.
my
I
short-
thought it was at the same.
No, on my short walk to the car, there's at least usually 2 used condoms. Now, like, I just don't understand. There's woods behind the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody wants to get poison ivy on their shit.
Maybe they like the thrill
Like-
of possibly being caught.
You know, it's called passion.
Like, I go for a double go, then they're not
So
gonna
do they.
stop and put
So
on
do-
Then they're not going to stop. You know, how passionate is it? Where it's like, you know, oh, that was great, baby. Let me open up the door and put my condom out on the like.
Like her ass is rubbing up against the asphalt, so she's got like asphalt burns all over her ass.
No, I think they're in a car. I think
Okay.
that's fine. Like, I don't think they're that brazen
Well, you
to
got to
be.
keep the stank in. All right.
Yeah, what?
Wait, this is amazing. Our buddy Nicholas, he just posted this on his Facebook feed. It's not even in the Trick or Treat Radio group, but it says, no, don't let Cornjob ask a question.
Nice.
He must have been listening to an old episode. It's very relevant for this one for
I
some
don't
reason.
think Corn Job's
Yeah.
on this week.
So someone tell me, Michael Ravenshadow.
Yes.
What do you go to 7-Eleven for?
Smokes.
Right. Okay.
Really?
Do you ever go to 7-Eleven to fill up a condom with your cum and throw it on the floor?
Not. I've done a lot of things. I haven't done that.
I don't want these condoms in front of my store anymore.
If you could pick,
I fucking
racist
hate condoms.
shadow.
That's,
Wait,
yeah,
that
that's,
wasn't me.
that's
Oh,
racist.
sorry, I wasn't
That
looking.
wasn't
I
me.
got confused.
I'm sorry.
This isn't Springfield. We're not the Simpsons. We're not cute and yellow. We can't get away with that stuff.
I'm not the Red Cross. I'm not a...
I just don't. Can someone in the chat tell me who is fucking at 7-Eleven?
By the hump of my camel, I cannot tell you.
Jethronomicon says, wow, you guys are really getting me excited right now.
I'm sorry.
Word to snurb.
All those
Wait.
were-
Also, son of a bitch, Woober, man. I love you and I hate you. He just sent us money.
What?
He sent us
Bunny?
$20.
Nice.
Oh,
Thank
Big
you.
man.
up, Fuba fucking man. Class fucking gentleman.
It's true. How many pounds is that? Like the translation?
Yeah.
What's-
20
Is that
pounds.
shekels or?
Also, one other thing I wanted to bring up that relates to money. You guys take a look at this. You see a couple of new things on the store?
Oh, snap.
The Big
There's-
Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight EP, the physical EP.
Oh, that's how you can put it in your player.
Yeah, CD player.
Yeah.
And we also have the digital download card and sticker of the Big Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight. So you get that what you do is you get a download card on the back. You can download the MP3s, the whole entire EP, and then you could also peel the top off, and it's a fucking sticker. You can
Right.
throw it on the back of your car, throw it on. You can throw it on street signs.
Yeah, slap it on grandma's ass. I mean,
Slap it on. Well, no,
You
don't do that.
You fucking ruin it.
Like why? Like watch it. What do you have against grandma?
So we have some people that really like to give us money for free, and we fucking love you guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, like we can't thank you enough for that. But we do have stuff for sale where you actually get something in return.
You know what? I say send something to him regardless.
Well,
Regardless.
Wooberman, if you, whatever you want, man. Like if you want
Oh
to.
shit. He's getting 8 by fucking 10.
That might not make it through customs. you know?
Yeah, it might not.
I was going to say, where's the 8x10 on the store?
I'll tell you this: every single time I see a used condom, I wish I could jump in Jim Smith's time machine and bring him to like 30 years ago in Millbury.
Oh, Jesus. So if you guys do want to buy
There
some
you
stuff,
go, Mom and Shadow.
what you do want to go to trickortreatradio.com/store, or just go to trickortreatradio.com and click on the store link. And right there, you'll see we have the Deadites logo T-shirt. We have premium content #1, the old interview with the Deadites from 1996. We have the Big Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight physical EP CD. And then we have the digital download card /sticker. And the buttons are going to go up soon. I
Yeah.
just didn't have a good picture.
And I have
need to
some,
take a new
some
one.
kind of vague but exciting news. I had a 1 hour long meeting with I guess it's okay to say she's like my partner in like product making as well as show booking. The lovely Myra K Rock and the Red Queen, who we like sublet a lot of that work out to, and Tiny White. And there'll be some we dug up some a lot of cool premium content that the graphic design people edge of Dynamite are gonna embellish and make real nice and have some cool stuff in time for Rock and Shock. But on that day, it'll hit the store. So
Awesome.
there's one thing I want to talk about so fucking bad, but I'll wait till I have it in my hand just in case I end up in the hospital or something again. But I'm really excited for. I'm excited for a couple of these things. Plus, we found another interview. Since you guys hated and not bought that last one at all, we decided it'd be good to try to make you not buy another one.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, lots of cool stuff we found.
Yeah. So
Digging in the archives of Deadites music and recorded shit that I forgot like even existed was fucking blowing my mind apart.
So speaking of Rock and Shock, just to let you folks know that live near Necronomicon or will be coming into town, it is going to be October 16th, 17th, and 18th. The whole weekend. The Deadites and members of Trick or Treat Radio will be there. And we hope you come and join us and hang out with us because it's always a fucking blast. So if you're going to be at Rock and Shock, it's a big rock and horror convention that's held in Worcester, Massachusetts, otherwise known as Necronomicon, in October. So come and hang out with us. Come join us. And let's have some fun, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let me catch up on the chat room real quick. We do have to wrap this up because I want to get to the film review before we talk to Tony Timpone.
Stop the presses. David Stevens on the chat room says, "What, Raven Shadow? Look at the very top."
How can you see that? That's like fucking black magic, like that you can read that far.
I am fucking at the 7-Eleven.
No, right there. He did say that though.
My man says, where is it so far away? Raven Shadow does not fear the Reaper tonight. Robo-jocks, symbols.
It's Robot Jocks.
What'd I say?
Robo.
I said robot.
You said Robo.
Let's go fuck yourself.
Rowboat jocks.
Robo.
That's probably my favorite thing about sitting in between Monsters Air and Tom Z. I can say whatever I want to Michael Raven Shadow and he'll yell at one of you guys.
Rowboat jocks. That's a fucking movie.
That is a
You've
fucking
got it right
movie.
0 times.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Why didn't you fucking put me on the spot?
Nathan Coy Vance Duke says, already got that EP, but I got to get me that sticker. I hope the shipping is reasonable because I
think
don't.
you could probably just put it in an envelope with a couple stamps.
Yeah, I just did. I don't. It's bigger than like that will fit in a regular envelope, and I don't want to fold it, so it may need like a slightly bigger one. But I did $3 for shipping on that, so I wanted to get it to people. If people think that's too much, I'll see if I can lower it. But I haven't shipped one out yet, so I just wasn't sure what that was going to cost.
I mean, you can always ship things media mail, and they'll get it in like 42 days. So
I know.
guess it
Well,
just
that's why I
depends
want
on what you wanna
to.
pay
Yeah, I
for.
just want to avoid that.
Yeah. It sucks too because like you have like Amazon shipping on like fucking Sunday. So like when you're trying to like send something and it's
Yeah.
not there in like 45 minutes. People
Exactly. Yeah, that's why like
Yeah.
it's hard not to ship anything that's not like priority these days. So
That's why you guys got to join Deadites Prime and get free shipping.
hand
Yeah,
delivery.
it's only $63 from the show hits.
Stephanie says, "Oh, I'm getting something for my money,"
Oh yeah.
and she is.
That's
She
quite
makes
true.
it sound so like it's gross.
Well, I kind of did the voice.
yeah,
It's
but
not-
still, like even the fact that like I don't know, like I would never regret an exchange of money, like other than whoever is like fucking like fucking in the parking lot in 7-Eleven and him doing the tuck are the two grossest things I can think of.
You haven't even. Yeah, but you've seen the condoms. You haven't seen me do the tuck yet.
Yeah, I have
Yes, but he's
unfortunately seen you sans tuck though, not enjoyable. So I don't know how tucking your fucking giant balls under your legs is going to make this experience any more awesome.
The last time I was hiding in his closet, I saw him practicing.
All right, we got to wrap things up. Let me quickly catch up on the chat room because there's a lot
There's
going
been no
on.
introductions at all yet.
No. Wooberman says, "Same here, Stephanie. The show is my reward. Also, I'd buy something from the store, but I'm actually really fucking lazy." Wooberman, seriously, man. What if you want something, we'll hook you up. If you don't have the big scary monster hunts at midnight, you've already paid us enough money. We'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll take my shirt off.
Let's give him a prize pack.
We don't have a
Yeah.
prize pack.
We'll get some. Give him
Maybe
extra
we
gas.
should.
Are you gonna fucking ship
Yeah,
it?
you know how much it costs to
Jesus
ship that
Christ.
thing to Myra?
Well,
Shut up.
I know a guy.
Yeah, we all know a guy.
And Nathan Coy Vance Duke says, when it comes to bonus content, I've got to say I'd totally be up for bonus shows or reviews or general discussions. Premium content, I mean.
Don't tell Raven Shadow that I just brought the prize pack to Myra's house.
Well, no, because we did find out how much it was going to be to ship.
Yeah,
And you wanted to go to her house anyways.
it's true. Actually, I didn't even do that. She came to my house.
Let's go to fucking England.
Stephanie says, goodbye, horses.
Like NXT.
Yeah.
Jethronomicon says, I wish I could be there. I've always wanted to be there. Assume he means Rock and Shock.
Nothing
Oh, I
so
thought he meant
easy
here.
when you live in Jethronomicon.
Nathan Coy Vance Duke says, that shipping is super reasonable. So,
Are you far Jethronomicon? Because you can sleep on Raven Shadow's couch.
in his bed even.
Yeah, I mean, fun.
I can think of somebody be excited about that.
Hey, yes, you would.
Melissa says, bartending, and I find them in bathroom all the time. Gross. I assume she means condoms.
Yeah, but sweetheart,
Raven Shadow.
Raven
that's a
Shadow.
bar. I have been in more than one bathroom, in like more than one bar bathroom.
Oh, you taking a selfie in every single one of them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got the market cornered on bathroom selfies. He's got the market on Walmart selfies.
yeah. I'm
But
the
I will not do a Walmart bathroom selfie.
You're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
The Walmart bathroom actually looks like a nice hotel bathroom.
It's very
strange.
nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
All right.
weird.
Wooberman says, I'll settle for tuck dance B-roll. So there you go. That's his reward.
Snip.
All right, we need to cut to a break. So, guys, the big takeaway from this is we have stuff on the store. Go to trickortreatradio.com/store, and we have some stuff available if you want to buy it. If you want something for your money, or you can just send us donations. We're totally cool with that. That's on the front of the Trick or Treat Radio site. We have that. We also have our friends over at XSplit.
XSplit.
And they provide the streaming software that you see when you're watching the live show on Wednesday nights. Also, Raven Shadow, if they're not watching live, they're typically hearing this episode on Friday mornings. We drop it on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and also our website, trickortreatradio.com. Now, they listen to the 3.5, 4, 5 hour. No, we haven't done 5 hours yet, but they listen to the long show. What do? Like, they're dying for more content.
Oh, my God.
They listen to the whole show. What do?
When you're fucking so insatiable to hear us.
Insatiable Spider-Man.
Oh my lord! When the web fluid's flowing and it's sticking to the couch.
This is a bad show.
Top 5 podcasts, and you just don't know what to do. You jump on the Trick or Treat Radio What is it called? Trick or Treat Radio Facebook page.
It's the
100
fib.
The Fib, or AKA the Fib,
157
Jesus.
episodes.
No, 165.
plus Halloween,
And yeah, we got it.
also
So-
known as the Fib.
Yes. Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just do a search for Trick or Treat Radio and join the public group. We will let you in. We've had a few new people join this past week. One thing I do want to call out, let me go ahead and I don't know if he realizes I'm going to read this on the air, but we got a really nice message from a new listener. His name is Matt, and Matt said, "I have to say, I was apprehensive when I heard about your podcast. 3+ hours of content in this ADD world was something I didn't know if I could get behind. But I took a chance, and you guys rock. I enjoyed your show from start to finish. Thank you. New fan right here."
All right.
Wow, big ups yourself.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
So thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
And he just joined the Fib. So
Nice.
So there you go. Obviously, you know, this is a long fucking show. Most shows out there are between an hour to 2 hours that do what we do. And we do a long form.
What you didn't say is the end of it says, "Thank you, Matt. Till next time, make mine silver and gold."
Yeah, I did avoid that part. So, all right, we have to finish this up because we have an interview to do at 10:30, and we have a film that we need to review before then. So, Raven Shadow,
Yes.
you're sitting down to watch the sequel to Contracted. What do you do?
Oh my lord! I take a bunch of clindamycin.
Huh?
It's an antibiotic.
Is that like beer and clam? Is that what that is?
No, it's not like beefamato or
I'm skipping intros. I didn't forget. I'm skipping them.
Oh.
Just one for the record.
Babalu. So I take a bunch of clindamycin.
My name is Mars. Everybody, hi.
Because I'm allergic. Yeah, because I'm allergic to the other antibiotic, and then get a physical. Get a physical.
Yep.
Get checked out. Make sure it's all working right.
Don't you normally get prescribed medicine after you go to the doctor?
No, I like going in. I like going in ready, just so he doesn't yell at me. And then I maybe come out of there with another prescription, and then I watch this fucking movie, few beers, strap on.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electroshock band, the Deadites. Available on iTunes, Google Music, Amazon, CD Baby, and all other digital distribution sites.
Trick or Treat Radio is the greatest podcast ever invented. The spelling is very bad. I'm not sure who wrote this. And the Deadites, is that a company that procures houses? The Deadites. Oh, it's the Deadites. The Deadites are a fantastic musical act. That is what I was supposed to say. And there you go. There it is. Cheeseburger. Remember to rent The Fly, because that's a good movie for making love to.
Jeff Goldblum, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we can get you on the show again sometime soon.
I'm Ruby Burble.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
What comics?
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at The Deadites, TheDeadites.com, and TrickOrTreatRadio.com.
Welcome back to Trick or Treat Radio. Jethronomicon loves the Yeti. He said, I love the Yeti, just saying.
The Yeti is
Nice.
is unfortunately critically injured still in a
What?
coma.
Really?
Yeah, well,
I didn't know that.
thanks to the fucking knock zero here, and sounds like Eine Ite.
Eine Ite?
Yeah, remember he came up and Bunsen Zero ratted
Yeah.
on him and Tiny White attacked him?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, fucking jerks.
What a jerk. All right, so we're going to talk about this flick. This is the sequel to
Welcome back.
Contracted. Contracted Phase 2 is 78 minutes. It's a drama horror thriller from 2015. This film was directed by Josh Forbes, was written by Craig Walenziak, and it stars Matt Mercer, Mariana Palka, Morgan Peter Brown, Anna Laura Vale, Peter Salella, your boy from Ghost Games.
Yeah, great. I was so how do I know this guy? Oh, son of a fuck.
And it also has a cameo from Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, directors of Spring.
Which was very cool.
Yeah, which is cool.
Love
I
Spring.
do have to say that I was completely bullshit because the only thing I liked about the first movie wasn't in this. And that was Simon Barrett cameo.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was completely tear ass.
I know. I was like, come on, at least have it be him, and it wasn't. So, all right. So the synopsis we have about this film is Riley searches for a cure to the virus that took over Samantha before it consumes him and the entire world.
Before it could
And that's a
Mona.
bullshit synopsis.
Yeah.
He didn't
Doesn't
search
even
for the cure.
Yeah. Mona. He thinks about it.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
like, oh, well, maybe
gets a fucking leg cramp or whatever. Gets a gun pointed at him. Just starts being like, and ends up. He's like, I don't like. Seriously, he turns into like fucking Morty when he has rickets or something. All of a sudden, he's like, it's like, come. The police officer's like, come to the hospital, and he's like, no. And then she goes, come to the hospital. He goes, and like falls over.
All right, so if you guys listen to the review of Contracted 1, which I believe was episode 78, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the more memorable episodes that we've had because of these two fucking idiots.
Jesus fucking
Fuck
Christ.
off.
No, it's true.
No,
it is true.
It is true.
No.
All right, hold on.
I can't wait to be fucking vindicated
Yeah,
or
exactly.
you feel like a fucking idiot.
Can we
when
just
talk
fucking
about
jump
this
into
one.
it? Because as soon as I saw it, I fucking paused it, went to another room, woke up my special lady friend, and pointed at the TV and said, "What's that?" And she answered. I said, "Fucking thank you."
All right, let's get into it because we got 35 minutes. We have to rush through this.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something, Dynamo.
Are you kidding me? You only
This
said
movie
one word
starts-
and that was it?
This movie starts right. She gets out of the car, right?
Yes.
What is she?
What do you mean, what is she?
Fuck. Yeah, no. What is she? Like, what kind of monster is she that's rampaging out of that Hyundai?
She's
Elantra?
rabid. She's rabid.
It's a merman.
She's
You're just gonna
Beastmaster.
make this stretch out for as long as you possibly
When to
can.
go?
Let's just do the Let's just do the review for
No,
Christ's sake.
because that's Wolfie.
No.
That's what Wolfie wants.
Zom.
You cannot fucking tell us that that's not a zombie now. She has a fuck. What rabid animal has a fucking gummy zombie eye?
He's not even paying attention.
Are you fucking texting?
Hey,
No, I'm not texting.
hey.
No.
You writing a check over there? What's going on?
You're writing a check you might can't
You know
cash.
what? Wait, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fucking deposit your check on my phone just to fucking shove it in your face because I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the fucking bank to.
You think I
put
give
that
a
thing
shit
in.
what you do with it? I gave it to you, man. What you do with it is up to you, man. You can wipe your ass with
Oh
it for all I
shit!
care.
Ledger's hanging out.
Nice. What's up, Dad?
Ledger says I'm missing quality hot tub time for this shit. And then Nathan Coy-Vance Duke says you're a moron if you don't think she's a zombie.
It's fucking true. It is true. That was a zombie. She had a fucking mummy. Like, if she was wrapped up, I could see how you could get confused that it was a mummy because she had a fucking weird Tyrannosaurus Rex arm and like a dragging her foot, mummy dragging her foot thing out of the car. But not wrapped up, that's a fucking zombie.
I think Wooberman sums it up pretty nicely here. He says one answer for Ridley: stop putting your dick in things. You're destroying humanity.
I got some fucking problems with the openings after the. I will say this.
Yeah.
I can appreciate a horror sequel that picks up right after the previous one left
Agreed.
off.
Yes.
However, when I started watching it, it brought me back to watching Contracted for the fucking first time.
Right.
There's a scene in the beginning where our main character is in the doctor's office. Okay. And it picks up like day 4 was day 4 after the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a little nervous because he kind of like put his brajol where it shouldn't belong.
Yeah.
And it was maybe some maggots.
No, there was.
There was. And he's getting checked out because obviously you fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? What concerns me was that his brother-in-law is a doctor,
Right.
so he can get checked out. Probably no fucking copay. He gets, fucking 20. And
You would know.
Yeah, there's times where I'm like, well, this itches, but is it worth $20 to get checked out? But he probably can get checked out. He has a clean bill of health, except when he looks over and he has the 3 claw marks on his back.
I know.
Like
And
with
a nail
with a
still in.
fucking nail.
nail in it. And like,
So when you have sex with a zombie, apparently it's
Not a zombie.
you
well,
do-
I call it marriage.
apparently you don't shower afterwards or
Yeah,
like
how
clean
many
yourself.
days?
Yeah.
Well, no. Like,
Well, it said it started at day 4 or 5, right?
so
Is
that so he
4?
so yeah
so
so
he
that
went
was later
3
on that
days.
day.
He went 3 days at least.
So
No.
you've never gone 3 days without a shower after having sex?
No, he had sex with her on day 3.
And then it was day 4, yeah.
So
Oh,
the
okay,
next day
yeah.
he went to the doctor
Good
because it
call.
seems like it takes 3 days for shit to go down.
Although apparently the other girl, it takes like half a day.
Also
Yeah.
pissed me off.
Because she was adorable. I think that has had a lot to do with it.
But here's the thing, though. Like when you have a physical, he's gonna like he's
Giving us when you have a physical,
when you
yeah.
have a physical, they're gonna like fucking put the fucking stethoscope on the back. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna check it out when you're fucking Johnny. You know what I mean? Like and
Oh, me?
yeah, you. But like, and why the fuck does he get?
What do you think the other end of that Raven Shadow stethoscope sounds like?
Probably like Michael Myers. But like, he gets a clean bill of health for no STDs, but he's got fucking zombie fucking shit.
He's
flowing
got the
through him.
zombie gene?
Yeah, and thank you.
No.
This movie reinforces that, but no, like, it
Well, fucking way.
does.
No.
It fucking
No,
does.
it does not. No.
Tony, listen,
How?
talk to me later on.
Tony. He's not going to even talk. He's not going to even say a fucking word to you.
My mic's gonna be shut off.
Raven Shadow thinks we're interviewing an animated cereal mascot later.
But like, if you think like, hey, my dick's probably fucked up, I should get this checked out, and you're in the doctor's office and you're pulling a fucking zombie nail out your back, say, listen, bro, this is fucking weird. I got some scratches. You know what I mean? Like, you're in the fucking room. I was took out of it.
Wouldn't be strange for me whenever I have sex. I always get claw marks on my back.
So they're called fucking victims,
Once every 15 years.
right?
Just so you know, when a fucking giant bird of prey tries to pick you up in front of your house, that's not sex.
When you're fucking
And-
Rodan.
And maggots do not fucking appear if you're sick, you
Right.
idiot.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I went
There's
back and
maggots-
re-listened to that.
Maggots are being pulled from his skin. You
Yeah.
know, he's carving up his skin, pulling out maggots.
All my fucking allergies act up. I get maggots in my fucking.
That was the other thing I went back and listened to last episode. This kid defended, like, to the death that maggots don't just eat dead things. He was like, you were like, see, the definition says dead and rotting.
Maggots do eat live things. They do.
On YouTube.
No, they do.
Every Wednesday
Yeah, but they.
night.
They do. What do
They
you want from
don't.
me? They do.
It sounds like you a couple
You
episodes
probably,
ago.
yeah, but
I know,
like
right?
it probably has some
Howard
sort
the
of
Maggot.
weird necropic
Howard
like
the
skin
Maggot.
disease or something like that, where its skin cells are dying. It is rotting. There's like flesh-eating disease.
There you go.
Wait.
So they're alive.
Wait, Stephanie just said, "Oh, come on, MZ, blow-up dolls don't have nails." He puts nails in their hands.
That's the new model.
All right, so man,
No, it's because they have carpenter's nails. He has to nail it to the bed to even make the blow-up doll stay.
so you guys saw at the beginning, we see the Abaddon tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So what movie was it? Was it I Lived, right? That was the heavy-handed Abaddon reference. Was that what that was?
What's Abaddon?
Okay, so Abaddon, what it means, it's if in Greek it means the destroyer and is in reference to an angel. In Hebrew, it means realm of the dead. And I think I Lived was when we saw the reference when the heavy-handed like horns and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because he lived on like Abaddon Lane or something
Yep.
like that.
Okay, yeah.
So obviously this alludes to later on we get more into this. There's something else going on here. It's not just an isolated incident where this one girl gets infected. It's becoming more of an epidemic, right? That's something that happens fairly early on to the film.
Well, not Simon Barrett is like fucking prostitutes at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I think actually I didn't even put that together, but like
He is the dumbest fucking terrorist ever.
he's the worst.
Because
He's the worst.
they essentially
But he's getting
call
the
him a
job done.
terrorist.
But he's getting the job done.
Oh, one hooker at a time?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy at the 7-Eleven.
all it takes is one hooker, man, and
Yeah,
and your clientele is shot.
Well, I guess, but like it wasn't like the fucking suburbs were like knee deep in the apocalypse, like the beginning of the Return of the Living, the Dawn of the Dead remake. Like this is obviously a very long plan. Like he likes to infect some person, make some fucking videos on his like 1940 Cattell like tape recorder, and like like talk for an hour.
Yeah.
And then go out.
That's what he does every night when he gets home.
That did look a lot like Raven.
The
Shadow's
Raven Shadow
basement.
tapes.
Yeah.
He's going to release his own podcast.
Like I just don't even understand like what like it was so disjointed. I'm not 100% sure like even what his act of like terrorism was. Like they had to have an agent come halfway through and say he's a fucking terrorist.
Yeah.
Like cuz I just like you might call it terrorist. Like here we would probably just call it someone like dirty. Or someone from Millbury. Like he's just spreading. He's just like fucking spreading like an STD. Like great. Like it's the backstage at the espresso bar. Like
An infectious Johnny Appleseed.
yeah. Like
Let's we haven't
not
heard
terrorism.
we haven't heard from Tom C. I'm really curious.
Tom
You
C,
s-
what are your thoughts about the agent too?
You did see the first one before you watched this one, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Thought the first one was pretty awful. But one thing I did notice about the second one was if you looked real close for a second, there was a shot at the wake, I think, for the girl Allison.
Yeah.
And there was a Asian guy sitting there with glasses, and he played the friend of the main character in I Lived.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That fucker's following me around. But anyway, besides that,
That's right. The Abaddon connection right here. We had Tom C on that episode.
someday I'll watch a good movie and it'll be fun. And, but no, this one it was weird. I mean, it kind of took it into a new direction. I mean, sort of. It expanded on it and stuff. And
you mean how Sami Zayn left One Direction?
One Direction.
Sami Zayn.
That's one of those guys' names.
So I don't know. It was a movie, and I mean,
It was a movie.
I'm trying to think of what to say here. It was. I didn't dislike it as much as the first one because I thought the first one was.
It's like you contracted Monster Zero review disease.
Yeah, these movies just don't often leave a lot to say. It was that detective lady. I don't know where she's from, but apparently throughout her life, based on her accent, she lived in every European city, village, and town all over the place.
Did anyone else feel like they knew that girl from something?
Yes, yeah. I think I've seen
What
it
girl?
somewhere.
The detective?
The detective. Yeah, like it was haunting me.
Like
the only
4-2?
thing I could think of.
I never really caught on to that.
I have to go back and watch, but there's 3 or 4 videos I've been watching like in a loop lately on YouTube, like music videos. And I wonder if she's in one of those or something. Like I checked her IMDb,
Are you
but it was kind
sure
of like
it's a music video?
yes.
Okay.
Though that I forget, one of them has a Foxy nurse in it, and I love Foxy nurses. But like I like when I was going through her filmography, I was automatically skipping anything that said short because odds are I wouldn't see it. But like sometimes videos are like listed as that on IMDb, so she might have been in one of those videos. She's certainly not in that Foxy Rose McGowan video I watched like 100 times.
Nerve. That was
Yeah,
fucking
what a great
weird.
song.
I just like the boobs.
I think one important thing with any of these movies,
Yeah, you typically do like boobs.
especially horror movies, it's important, I think, to care about the victims, the main characters,
agree.
whatever.
Yes.
And in the first one, the girl started off, I guess, sweet enough, but just irritating. And then this guy, well, I mean, he started in the first movie as a stalker, and in this one, he's like, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't have just up and fucked her. But he was just this annoying, like, oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. This guy just.
It's like we're supposed to.
It's like nails on MZ's back.
We're
there you go.
we're expected to forget how he got here, and all of a sudden, like he's this sympathetic character with a nice
It's
grandma.
like yeah. What do you, I mean, he wasn't expecting to catch the zombie gene, but it's just like, dude, you made your own bed. Fuck you. It's like, and does he fail miserably or what? I mean.
It's like in the later movies where Godzilla was like a good guy. Like we're supposed to forget that like he was destroying Tokyo last film. In this one, he goes from like you know, sleazy date rapist to like friendly lead singer of the Electric Six or something like that. Like he's supposed to be like this, like kind of like you know, like you know, like I have now I have a cute indie rock girlfriend and a nice in a really sweet grandma
who chain smokes and drinks whiskey.
Yeah.
Overbearing pregnant sister. Like,
That's your kind of woman, Raven Shadow.
Gee golly, you should really love me and forget the fact that like I definitely was banging maggot pussy in the last film from a girl who's not in her right mind. Like
but it seems like it seems like that like these actors really have nothing to go on with these characters.
Not really. I mean,
the character development in this movie is
they're
very,
not
very,
even like
very
very
thin.
thought out to anything. Like
They're very thin.
I've never seen a movie with a cast this small where some of the cast members like just didn't have arbitrary names, right? There was a guy in this called Less Attractive.
Oh, I know. Cop.
Yeah, like
less
Less Attractive Cop.
or best friend.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like only
I think it
4
actually said my best friend.
Yeah, it did.
Oh yeah, my
What
best
the fuck
friend.
does
yeah.
that mean?
There's
Yeah,
only like
I-
fucking 20 people in this movie. Give them names, you lazy fucking
Really,
assholes.
really, yeah. I mean,
The guy who was like the guy in the school had like a name like that. The guy who came out like he, you know, like it should have said fucking like writer's cliche should have been his name, but he's like, she's not going anywhere with you, Buster.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking-
I will.
Yeah,
I will
the-
say this
the-
too. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say though, the writing is really, really, really lame. And there's a point in this film about maybe I would say maybe 70% through the film because this is a short film too. It's only like what
78 minutes.
78 minutes long. I mean,
Didn't
what the
feel
fuck?
like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point in the film where it started to feel like it was going to become like this action adventure flick.
Kind of. When he goes for the gun and everything.
With the guns and everything,
Yeah.
it just got really silly.
How about that? How about that token reappearance of Mr.
Drug dealer?
Mr. Can Get You Anything?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But
I
that's
mean,
when he gets the fucking leg cramp.
But
It's like
it just feels the whole movie just feels empty. There's just nothing there, nothing to really keep me interested. It doesn't look all like, what are you doing? Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm taking a picture of your fucking check to
okay.
deposit it.
Everybody's running the fucking show, keeping the fucking lights on.
MZ, there was that scene too where him and his new what was her name? The nurse chick that he was kind of sort of getting into there.
Oh yeah,
Whatever her
yeah.
name was.
Yeah.
But
Was she a nurse?
or she was a student of some kind.
Oh yeah.
But what I was saying was
never
there was
followed up on that.
It was that scene where like they're in the car and it seems like it's like, okay, we're on a mission now. You know, like we're gonna die, but we're gonna take this guy out first, and then that veers off and goes nowhere.
Yeah, it's chock filled with cliches. The stinging music when. Like this, I mean, this isn't really much of a spoiler, but I mean, you got like the grandmother sitting in the chair, and what's his name, Riley kisses her on her head, goodbye, I'll see you later, and she's there with her eyes closed. Next thing you know, the stinging music and her eyes flip open, and it's like, okay, now she's got the disease. So it's like
it's really sad
so
because they had played a song when they were in the bar that I thought was kind of like funky, and then you go back to the regular score.
Now, how does she get it? Is because he drank the whiskey and then she
No,
drank the glass
the toothbrushes
No,
were.
they had sex.
No, the toothbrushes are touching.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that what it
I
was?
missed that entirely. That
Yeah.
was totally lost on me.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I mean,
I saw that.
What bump? And I don't give a fuck about spoilers. I think
Yeah,
when the Mormons came to the house, I really wanted to see a zombie grandma on Mormon scene.
Yeah, I thought that was the point. What was the point of having two Mormons walk by? They didn't.
Just to get them when the cops showed up, just to have them already in there.
Yeah, so it's another zombie. Yeah.
Oh, did they become zombies?
One of
Yeah.
It shows you how much I picked up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I didn't even notice it myself.
So the payoff to that scene didn't happen. I mean, I'm not a body horror guy.
Well, let me say this real quick.
I would argue that.
Yeah, your body's scaring the hell out of me, man.
I am. I have to say this.
It's been a while, but there's the joke.
I am not a gorehound. Okay. I think it's fine if there's a point to it. If you're trying to get a point across with the violence. The scene where he's cutting the maggots out of himself was there for the sake of seeing him cut maggots out of himself. It didn't make any difference.
Maggots,
it was just,
Tom C.
You're eating maggots, Tom C.
Huh?
You're eating maggots.
I'm eating them?
How can a billion Chinese people be wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The fucking Lost Boys. Damn it.
Oh, I've never even seen the entire Lost Boys. So.
I've never even seen the Lost Boys.
Good for you.
No, I've never seen
Near
it.
Dark is better.
Yeah, well, so what?
I love Near Dark.
Well, get in a bad mood and go watch it.
Casablanca.
But anyway, the point I was just saying is that, and then there was the other scene where I guess the recovering addict or whatever came to his work. She started like tearing open her arm, and it was like I get it. She's probably has the same thing that he does, but.
Or maybe DTs.
Or
Those are bad.
DTs, but just gore for gore's sake is just like, oh God, stop it. I mean, I know MZ's a gorehound. He loves that shit.
I am, but I mean,
I don't like
the gore for gore's sake in a film like this is not really.
But
necessary.
it was just thrown in to be arbitrary because I feel like they got to a point in the script where they were like, this whole film last time lived and died by being gross, and we really haven't had much gross.
Yeah.
Like, there are some really annoying things about this particular zombie apocalypse. Like, what's with the fucking gummy eyes and that only the ladies get them?
Oh, yeah.
Like the weird fucking
the
scrambled egg guy. Like,
Riley did get it. He just didn't pull it out.
Yeah, and this is the worst fucking zombie apocalypse.
yeah.
This is a zombie apocalypse I don't want to be in.
Hey, we're just shitty.
And something else about body horror too is that for a body horror movie to work, you have to give a shit about the character. We all cared about Seth Brundle, so every time something fell off, you gave a shit. Who gives a fuck about Riley?
Not
Who
at
the
all.
fuck names their son Riley anyway?
I know. That's a last name. For
Hey,
Christ's
where'd your
sake.
dick go?
So-
In maggot nana.
So,
3 days later, you're walking a zombie. You're my white-eyed girl.
we've been alluding to this for a bit, but I think despite what you thought about the first one, and it was mostly negative but kind of mixed here, I definitely don't think this was the right direction to take with the sequel.
I think conceptually it might have been, but it just didn't do.
Yeah,
Well,
it might have looked good on paper,
To
but
me, I didn't like revisiting the first film. I'm okay with that. Like, maybe they want to make this a franchise. Maybe they think this is strong enough that they want to make a franchise out of it.
there's going to be a third one.
This is going to be the Lord of the
well,
Rings
yeah.
of the horror genre.
But I wish they had just taken, like, for me personally, I thought the interesting thing about the first one was the journey that, I can't remember the character, Sam, right? Samantha or whatever, that she went on. Despite whether you liked it or not, I think it was interesting to see how people just were. It was an interesting commentary on how people just don't fucking care about others. They're so they're so concerned about what's happening in their lives that they don't care about other people. Like, I just thought it had a kind of a cool message. That was the thing that I liked about it.
Okay.
And this one, so it's all about her struggle. It's an individual story about what's happening to Sam and what's going on and how this affects the people around her and the relationships. I thought that was cool. Now, I actually thought that they were going to do that in the second one with a completely different character. Like, I thought that someone else was going to get it from the dude or something like that, and that would be the way it went, you know. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should have gone, but so this was a different direction. I didn't really like that they revisited the first film so many times and had flashbacks and stuff like that. And then it just ended up leading to a much bigger thing. So we had this individual story that now has potentially blown up into this something that could affect the city, if not the entire world.
Right.
You know, and for me, I think that scope, bringing it back like that, completely kills the series. Whether you like the first one or not, I think this completely kills the series.
I think I liked, honestly, I will agree to disagree, because the thing that I was looking forward to the least was whatever ham-handed way like this disease was passed on again. You know, at least we had started with the fucking dude who unfortunately for him looks just like the fucking medical CEO that made the AIDS pill $200 this week. Like we already know who he is. I don't think the problem is that they've called back to the first film. I think the problem is that they called back to the first film and ignored it. Like, if you take a film that does this right, like Halloween 2, for instance, right? It sets everything up enough so any rules they break, they're not they're not so tied to. You know what I mean? Like, Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hospital because of this shit that happened, and now this movie's going to happen.
Yeah.
In this one, they keep saying, remember the last movie? Remember the last movie? Yeah. But as soon as you remember the last movie, again, I have to say, you have to remember that this guy is a creepy stalker guy. And they even do stuff in this movie, and he's like, I just watched her get raped and didn't do anything. And then, he goes to go buy a gun to be a hero.
Yeah. I do not give a fuck about this dude at all.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't planning to make a sequel when they made the first one. They didn't have that in mind. But it's like, of all the characters in the first one that could have been the main character, this is the guy you're going to choose.
Yeah.
You could have. I mean, there's really only two ways to kind of do sequels, right? There's if you've cast a wide enough net that you go from Night of the Living Dead to Dawn of the Dead, or I'm talking like the directly succinct sequel. I'm not talking about like part 5 or part 9 or whatever else. You know, it goes to Jamaica, goes to
That's a good movie. Ghost of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Hey man, boo.
Leprechaun goes on a cruise or like
Boo
whatever else. I'm talking about like the fact that there are kind of two ways to do it, and they picked the way where it picks up from the other one. But they did it in a way when they could have walked away from it a little bit. Like, you are trying to... So they had someone walk off screen that obviously had some sort of, like, altercation with not Simon Barrett. So why were they so concerned with having, like, it continue from somebody who, like, was directly affiliated with... Like, there was supposed to be a sequel, right? Because they just left that hanging.
Well, okay, so this is a good point to jump in, because I actually did a little bit of research on this, and I wanted to talk about the film a bit before we jumped into this, and we have to be very brief because we have 10 minutes till we have to connect with
Turning
Tony.
my mic off so I don't blow it.
But, so Eric England was the director of Contracted One. And so...
Freddy Krueger's son.
Really quickly, just to talk about his involvement. This flick, it was filmed in like 10 days. It was put together so quickly. Like, they basically had a script in 3 weeks. They had a script from, okay, here's the idea. 3 weeks later, they had a third draft of the script, and then they went to shoot it. This whole movie happened in the course of like a month and a half, I want to say, roughly. You know, obviously post-production probably took longer, but from the time it was greenlit till the time it was in the can and filmed was about 6 weeks, I think. So anyways, this film was shopped around. Nobody wanted it. None of the festivals wanted it. And then it finally got accepted to one festival, and then the director wasn't able to go because the two producers are like, oh, we haven't made a dime off of this, so we're going to take the tickets to go show it. And he felt kind of defeated because it's his film, his vision. He's not there to present it for the very first time. That kind of sucks, right? And he's broke, so he can't go to like overseas to wherever it was, somewhere in the Netherlands, I think. So anyways, this happens, and then it becomes people love it. And then all of a sudden it starts getting some traction, and IFC Midnight comes on board and it's getting all these rave reviews. And so they're like, oh my God, we have to do the sequel. We have to do a sequel. Let's get on this. So he may have had that in mind, but it's not something that was from the beginning that they wanted to do a sequel. So he's involved. He writes a script, and something I'm just trying to synopsize here. Something happened with there was a falling out or something like that between the producers and the original director and writer, and so they were going to go in a different direction, and they asked if it was okay if they minded if they went in a different direction. He said that it was okay. So based on their contract of what they had, he had passed on it, even though he kind of didn't, he kind of just says, well, all right, well, if it's not going to be this way, I don't think I want to be involved. And so they basically took one of the things in the contract and took it away from him in a sense. So he being the creator of this film and this, which now is going to be a franchise potentially, I guess you could call it. He had it taken away from him, and it went in a different direction. They took a lot of the ideas that he had without copying it, so he couldn't claim that they stole it from him. So they took enough of it without taking too much. And so he was pissed. He walked away. They went on and made this. So the one thing I wanted to talk about was, and Dynamo, I know you can attest to this, having your creative baby taken away from you and feeling powerless to influence it. So that must be a very difficult thing for Eric England, whether you like the film or not. I can sympathize with him because if you want, there's this really long blog. He actually posted a whole blog entry about it and talks about the whole thing. It's actually pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting read. If you go to ericengland.blogspot.com, and the name of this blog is Closing the Casket on Contracted Phase 2. It was posted a couple weeks ago. So if you're interested, go check that out. It runs down the whole thing, and I thought it was a really interesting read.
That sounds good. Yeah, and it does suck, by the way.
Yeah.
It does suck. And the bad part and at least his name was attached in some way. So there's that. But the bad part at the level that we're at and the level that this poor guy's at, like, the money's not there. It doesn't exist. Just put it. It's so easy to put out movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so easy for the companies to make money and like totally circle McCute paying the people who made the movies.
Yeah.
And like what's worse about it is that you get a credit, and now you're in a position where, all right, well, I have a credit and my name is on this. What's better? Do I want any sort of credit, or do I have to worry about my name being on something that's garbage?
Yep. Exactly,
So it's a really like ugly place to be. Like, I don't think that Ty West, like, I think if Ty West made Cabin Fever 2 now, they probably wouldn't have fucked with him because he has a name entity. But like Ty West was in that situation where he's like, I'm not happy with this. I don't want my name on it. And his name ended up being, on it anyway. So, like, there's a lot of pitfalls to be in this situation. And it just seems like, in this, from, like, kind of reading over your shoulder, as soon as he turned the movie in, he was taken out of it instantly. Mm-hmm. And it's even worse, like, you kind of fucking swallow your pride a little bit because you want to work, right? So they come to you the second time and are like, write it again. So you write it again, and then they tell you that, well, you did a really good job.
Yeah.
But we're going to go like a different way.
And supposedly they liked it at first, and then something happened. I just don't remember. Yeah. It was a long blog post.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I won't go through it, but Wolfie knows intimately that what I suspect it is, and I could be wrong, but like transposing my story on, these things go through fucking every level of the your handler, the producer you're working with, and you're a fucking rock star, and then it gets to the money person, right, who usually doesn't know fucking anything about anything, right? And it's like, no, this is awful. Now all of a sudden, all these people that have told you that you're a rock star and a fucking genius all the way down the line kind of push away from the table a little bit, so that the guy who's telling you you're an idiot gets a clear view of you and tells you all the reasons why you're an idiot. And then all of a sudden, all these people who supported you, the rats come to roost. Well, that's a Michael Roverjorx stuff metaphor, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and it's fucking awful. It's the. I gave a very passionate speech today about how important it is. I feel like art can make anyone's life better. Like, and I really mean it. And sometime I hope to, like, it's a philosophy of mine, and sometime I hope to have enough airtime to reiterate it on Trick or Treat Radio, because I really feel like art can make anyone's life better. But the business side of art is almost always a kick in the balls, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And just to piggyback a little bit on that idea, going back a little bit, is I think once they started getting the CDC and the government involved, I think this film is kind of what it overstepped its bounds, or or outgrew its budget, I guess I would say.
Yeah. And it's also like, there's nothing I hate more than like third act emergency exposition, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, the most famous and my least favorite is at the end of that movie AI. Where all of a sudden there's like a Jude Law narration that like voiceover that didn't happen in the whole rest of the fucking movie.
A million years later.
Yeah.
Like, it should have ended the fade to black.
Right.
And then it goes.
Yeah, but to justify what it did, somebody has to fucking come and tell, like, really what they're saying, no matter how you script it. When you bring in a character like this, we have written ourselves into a corner here, and you're not going to understand what happens next unless I come and tell you this, because we don't have enough of whatever for budgetary bad writing or whatever else to illustrate what is unfolding in front of you. It's just going to seem like a bunch of arbitrary images if somebody doesn't come and say, well, he's a terrorist.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to be like, why does this guy have a fucking bomb on? Like what's transpiring right now?
Yeah,
like he's got a fucking machine gun?
Forced exposition machina. Yeah. So we do have to move on and get to the verdicts, because we got just a couple minutes before we have to call Tony.
This is just, we've spent too much time on this, and I hate to be dismissive of a film, because there's a filmmaker who got to make a film here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like really being in love with people like Andrew Alana and Steven Scalata. Like, I know how passionate they are about their films, and sometimes they get out and they're not your movies. So, I hate to, though it's our job here to do that, and it's doubly our job to be entertaining, I hate to shit on anything because it's somebody made this. I try to be more. In 2015, I'm trying to be more like Professor J. I'm very bad at it because he's an enlightened being and I'm a fucking animal. But like, at the end of the day, this is a very middling film, and I feel like we've already spent too much time on it as it is.
And what about the like to add another layer at the very end, halfway through the credits, and it's like, seriously,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where's fucking Nick Fury at the end?
What the fuck? And can we? And I'm gonna spoil it, but can we have a fucking pregnant lady in a zombie movie without that fucking one thing happening?
Nope. Oh yeah,
without
I know,
that
right?
one thing, like
that was the whole punchline.
Yeah, I thought that I was gonna get the fucking gross shit
when he
that
walks
I
on
didn't
him
get in this movie. No, like I was into that.
I like that.
Like I thought, I don't know, like
no, but I mean, keep going.
Yeah, like I thought, like a fucking maggot-ridden baby was gonna come flying out of like that lady's, Howard Stern private parts, but like no, like we just got that fucking thing that we've seen 100 times, and
the Canor.
Monster Zero. In what type of genre film do we see all these tropes in over and over again?
My home movies,
like the pregnant person.
Are you trying to get me to say zombie film?
Yes.
Yep.
Because this was a fucking zombie movie.
The genre known as the zombie genre.
What's The Walking Dead about?
Yeah.
All right, we need to cut to the verdict.
Can I say one last thing real quick?
Yeah.
Please. Because you're dressed so fancy.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go.
He'll
tie it to the train tracks otherwise.
The sister there apparently has never seen Dead Alive. Always look at what you're eating.
Oh, yeah.
Disturbed. That was the
Custard,
Fucking, that
yeah.
was the fucking
Jesus
Dead Alive
Christ.
moment. Like,
That dude had blood coming from every fucking orifice.
I know, right?
oh, how about that fucking song?
All right.
Yeah, it's
Stupid.
Fuck the song.
And why did the fucking
Bring up the
hot-
Buster. Come on.
Yeah,
come
you
on.
know what? Fuck it. We'll talk at Denny's.
It's a good thing we didn't have a lot of time. This sucked.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it's verdict time. We need to be very quick with this. Let everyone know whether you thought Contracted Phase 2 was a trick or a treat, and any quick final thoughts. Michael, Raven, Shadow.
Yo, these guys made a movie. Okay?
Yeah, they did.
They made a movie.
Because we fucking saw it.
We saw it.
Spoiler alert.
They tell them to stop. No.
I said quick, didn't I?
They overextended their means, and it wasn't for me.
You just
Kind of like your wife did.
You just cut. You also just like cut and pasted a part of like Wolfie's review non sequitur and repeated it.
This is body
You're like,
horror.
They
That's cool.
overextended their means. I didn't copy anything else. The end. Period.
Control V.
You know what that is? I'm impressed.
So
that
there you
know.
go. Control C makes it do one thing. Control V puts it somewhere else. I'm gonna do Control T.
I'm gonna control P in your face. I'm gonna. No, I mean punch.
Yeah,
Control P for
yeah,
punch.
right.
Escape, Alt, Delete.
We're double streaming tonight on Trick or Treat Radio.
All right, MZ.
Trick. Nothing to add.
All right, Dynamo.
Trick.
Tom C.
Trick, but if you would like to see the fellow who plays the villain in this, if you would like to see him in a decent horror movie, check out Absentia.
All right, there you go. A recommendation from Tom C. For me, Trick as well. This film wasn't terribly made from a technical aspect. You know, I think maybe if this guy does something else, I'll look forward to checking it out. It wasn't outstanding, but it was fun. And but I think that these ideas got too far away from the original, and got away from the filmmakers. More importantly, I don't think they could deliver on what they were building towards. And Dynamo had mentioned that forced exposition was just too much. And what I liked about the first one was that it was a personal journey. It was a body horror about this one person and how they're coping with what's happening to them. And this just became something way different and didn't seem like it was even necessarily in the same series. So we got a lot of body horror moments, but nothing new or interesting to add to the zombie genre. Trick. 5 tricks. Avoid this fucking movie. All right. Next week, before we get to the interview, we're going to review a flick from Dark Sky Films called Deathgasm. This movie should be fucking cool. I'm looking forward to it. And you guys heard anything about this? Okay, I guess not. No. So we're going to review Deathgasm. It is going to be on VOD in October. We got an advance copy from our friends at Dark Sky Films, so we appreciate that, and we'll be reviewing that next week. So that's it for the review of Contracted Phase 2. Now we have to take a very
Hold on.
Yeah.
It was a monster. It was a zombie, right? Monster Zero. Now you're just being like belligerent. It was a zombie.
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Anything to speed this shit up. Really.
You're excited to talk to Tony, aren't you?
I'm nervous, man.
Are you?
I'll be honest with
Yeah?
you. Yeah. I'm good. I'm peeing my pants right now.
I'm nervous. I actually
That's
know who
age,
this guy
though.
is.
It could be age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn prune juice.
All right, so let's hurry up because we're already a couple minutes late. So let's go to a commercial. We're going to come back and we're going to talk to Tony Timpone, the fucking horror icon, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I love Tree of Life. Terrence Malick. I mean, how could you go wrong?
It's vanity shots.
Knocked Up. One of the best comedies of all time.
Nothing funny about that movie. Well, Joe, I love the remake of The Ring.
That's a joke.
Jaws 2, I mean, was just so much fun.
Who'd put that in their top 10?
And, I mean, come on. Silent Hill, great video game adaptation.
Worst movie ever. FilmForThoughtPodcast.com.
Hello, darlings. It's your favorite whiskey-drinking, litigious, singing, dancing fantasy girl. Want to reach out to me and the world's greatest monster-hunting multimedia organization, the Deadites? Log on to Facebook.com/The Deadites. It's got all the info you need to follow the world's greatest monster hunting band, like live appearances, info on your favorite Deadite, music, and all the links you need to our new weekly multimedia and all our side endeavors. Too many letters on Facebook? That's okay, sugar. Just follow us on Instagram and Twitter @The Deadites. Hope to see you soon, and we'll leave the lights off.
All right, we have returned on Trick or Treat Radio. That was a very quick break because we're going to talk to Tony Timpone.
It's that
in
dot
just a moment.
quiddity again. I can't seem to get my dick around.
Your dick around?
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
It's one of my favorite drops because it gets right to the point.
Yeah.
Got a nice beat right up front.
That's because fucking Tiny Maniac White took out the good part.
Tiny Timpone.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Holy shit! Oh, holy fuck.
Are you kidding me? Like,
was that an accident?
Just shit. Shit right on me.
He's so nervous about talking to Tony that he almost shit himself.
No, he shit himself on me.
I hope that came through the mic.
Oh my God! Not on our show, Stephanie.
Yeah, you see,
black trunks, black boots.
You fucking rip one every single episode. You're not going to be able to go.
But I don't shit on someone else. For whatever reason, he turned, pointed his fucking cannon at me, and fucking fired off like the encore of an AC/DC show.
No, what happened? I was reading the text. You mentioned Tiny Timpone, and I had a good laugh over it, and instead the exertion went out the other end.
All right, well that's good. I feel bad now that we made a fart joke. Now we're going to connect up with an icon. So
It's getting way too hot in your face.
all right, let's give Tony a call.
Oh, Snoop! Monster Zero T-shirt. What you guys missed is that Monster Zero just turned around
shit
and
himself.
fucking shit on me. Like right in my fucking face.
Cracked a rat right into Dynamo's face.
All right,
5
let's-
podcasts.
I'm sorry for the lead up, Tony, but let's give him a call right now. All right,
2 from the top.
2 from the top. All right, well, let's get Tony on the line.
Pick up.
Pick up.
Oh man,
There was a pick up in that last fucking movie. Remember that?
yeah, there was. Yeah, yeah.
Jiminy Crickets.
All right, there we go.
It's greetings from Rufus and Ronaldo.
Hello.
Hello, Tony. This is Trick or Treat Radio. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. How's everybody there?
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Very good.
Well, I
Doing-
was good.
We're doing very good. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with a bunch of jerks
my
like
pleasure. My pleasure. It's always fun rapping with like-minded horror folk like yourselves.
Very good.
us. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, for those folks who don't know Tony, his work has spanned 4 decades working with Fangoria. He has also produced and acted in numerous films. He's been a consultant on several documentaries. He's a published author. He's the co-director of the international programming for the Fantasia International Film Festival, and much, much more. If you want, go look him up on the internet. But we just wanted to give you a proper introduction. Tony, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
we really
man.
appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, and thanks for doing your homework too.
Well, most of us are longtime fans.
Yeah.
We've been reading Fangoria since we could read, pretty much. So.
Oh, you're the guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
On a recent show with our good buddy Steven Scalata, when he was talking about his flick Jodorowsky's Dune, we mentioned how like a choice, like of a very early Fangoria, like one wrong decision and our band might not have been called the Deadites. It might have been called Neon Maniacs. But it's because Evil Dead 2 got that cover, that iconic cover, and we were jacked about that movie before it even came out.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so much that we could talk to you about, Tony. But first, I want to why don't you tell folks what you're up to these days? I know you're still doing some work with Fangoria. You're doing stuff with Fantasia. Why don't you just catch folks up on what you've been up to lately?
Sure. Fangoria, I'm sort of their director of special projects. I run their screening series. We do monthly movies in New York, LA, other places, sometimes as many as 2 or 3 a month. We do these free screenings that fans find out through our website, fangoria.com. And I'm also involved with trying to launch some Fangoria feature film projects.
Oh.
Yeah, we have a slate of movies that we've been trying to get made into films for the last year, and we've made some good inroads. Working with a lot of the horror people we run into, in Fangoria's day-to-day existence. A lot of the masters of horror, have been very receptive to working with Fangoria and trying to raise money. Modestly budgeted horror films. We've optioned some stuff over the years. We've had a Ramsey Campbell film that we've been developing called Nazareth Hill, about a haunted apartment building, and another story called Cleopatra Brimstone, which is by a British author named Elizabeth Hand that we've been developing. We talked to Clive Barker about doing some stuff together. So, it's all a matter of hustling and trying to make some of these projects happen, raise the money, put together like international kind of packaging, so to raise the money. So that's pretty much Fangoria-wise what I do, and I do stuff for the website every so often when it strikes my fancy. If it's something cool, like to do, say an on-camera interview with a Rob Zombie or a Guillermo del Toro, people who I really like and respect and have a relationship with. When it's a cool assignment, I'll usually do something. With them for the website. The magazine I don't have too much to do with, except getting my copy in the mail every month.
Nice.
And let's see. So that's it, Fangoria-wise. Then you mentioned the Fantasia Film Festival. I'll be jumping into our 20th edition.
Wow.
In terms of planning, starting in November. I work on probably about 10 months out of the year, and that's a really intensive a job. I'm the co-director of international programming, so that means scouring the planet, trying to find the best in horror, science fiction, fantasy, action, anime, et cetera, and that's held every summer in Montreal in July. And Fantasia has really become a second home to me. Right after Fangoria. It's been a really great experience working with Fantasia because, again, I'm dealing with a lot of the same people I deal with at Fangoria. So it's it's a very tight-knit community. So it's always one-stop shopping with me. If I'm doing something for Fangoria or Fantasia, they usually kind of overlap a lot of the time. So that usually works out really conveniently. And let's see. I'm a consultant and programmer to the New York City Horror Film Festival, which that begins its 13th edition in November. And this year we're going to be holding it at Times Square for the first time. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
That'll be at Times Square this year. And let's see, who am I missing? Oh, and sometimes I do side projects. One of the films I booked at Fantasia last summer was called Attack on Titan, which is this really gory live-action film based on a Japanese manga and anime series. And they've turned Toho, the people who made the Godzilla movies, they've turned it into a two-part film series, two-part film, sort of like how they split Matrix 2 and 3, Matrix into two movies to make the second and third one, and what they did with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. They just split them up. So they made these epic movies about these giants that have colonize the earth and chew on people and go on a rampage, and it's about humanity versus this this world of giants. It's really cool and intense. And so I've been doing. So anyway, I booked that film to close Fantasia last summer, and it was so popular we wound up having to do a second show. And the people at this company called Funimation were very happy with the reception that the film got, that they brought me on board to introduce the film to horror fans across North America and try to get them excited for the film when it begins its theatrical release, again in two parts, starting September 30th. So I've been doing that as well, promoting that film to the horror community. And let's see, I got a couple more books in the works.
Nice.
Wow.
And
Good.
yeah, I have this dream of doing this ultimate coffee table book about the Fangoria conventions. Earlier this year, we published our Fangoria cover-to-cover book, which looked at the history of the magazine. And now I'd like to do a coffee table book about the history of our conventions, which we started back in 1984. And we haven't done a convention in a number of years now, because now everybody's doing conventions. We used to be the only convention. Now everybody does horror conventions. Every weekend there's a horror convention somewhere, where before we were the only game in town. And it was a lot more fun then, too. There was less competition, and stars didn't charge $60 for an autograph. And it was a whole... So yeah, and we're also talking to some people about making a documentary about the history of the Fangoria convention. So it might become a book and a and a movie.
Wow.
So
nice.
So those are two projects, a couple of things going on, and now that I'm done rambling, maybe I'll let you guys get some words in.
So what you're saying is you just don't sleep.
No, pretty much, yeah. People get emails from me like 4:00 in the morning and texts, and they're asleep, and my email comes in and wakes them up, and then
Isn't
I
it
get
great
yelled at
though?
the next morning.
Like, isn't it great? Don't you feel like you have like a trick that like nobody knows? Because like a few years ago, I got real sick, and like my sleeping schedule got like totally like destroyed. And when I had to go back to real life, like I couldn't sleep when I've been sleeping because I had to like go to work. But now, like from like literally 3:00 in the morning till 7:00 in the morning, like there was a week of like sleepless nights, and then I was like, I could just be fucking writing, right? Like this, like I'm not doing anything else. I'm not going to sleep. Like I feel like I've got a magic trick, but it's really just the writer's greatest friend, insomnia.
Yeah. Well, I used to work, pretty much like 10 to 6 when Fangoria had its offices in New York City, and that was pretty much my full-time job. And I was doing a lot of these other things on the side as well. And then I went. When I stopped editing Fangoria 4 years ago, I forget how long, to concentrate on our Fangoria VOD, I became part-time, and I started working from home, and then my kind of days and nights were turned upside down, where I don't go to bed till like 4:00 in the morning now, and I do a lot of my computer work between like 12 and 10 and 2 or something like that, and then watch TV for a couple hours. So, and then wake up at 12 and try to do other things, jumping right in again.
Yeah.
My friend Joe DeCanio will talk to you at 4 a.m. about movies if you. He's always there for me. He don't sleep either.
Yeah, it's always weird going to bed when the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. But I'd like to get on a more normal schedule. But right now, it seems to be working.
Whatever works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
The great thing is just hearing you talk about all the things that you're working on and all the things that you've done. You've obviously made a career of doing something that you're passionate about, and that's one of the things we talk a lot about on the show is passion. And we love when we review films, at least one film every week, and we love the films that have a lot of passion. You can tell. We just reviewed the Editor last week, which we all loved, and you can tell that Astron 6 put a lot of love and effort into making.
Oh
that
yeah.
Flick. And that's one thing that we talk about a lot, and it's really cool to hear that you've made a career out of your passion, and it pays the bills for you, and like that's really really fucking cool in my book. And it's awesome that you've been able to make a career of this since basically 1984, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I was freelancing to Starlog, Fangoria's sister publication, while I was still in college. That was in 1984, and then I joined Fangoria in 1985, and pretty much it was always a dream job. I used to go to high school reading Fangorian famous monsters on the train, and it was always a fantasy. Oh, maybe someday I could get a job just writing for one of these magazines. And then I graduate college, and as luck would have it, I'd wind up editing Fangoria within a year. It was like everything happened fast, and every day I woke up to go to work. I had a smile on my face. I had to pinch myself, saying, "Wow, it really happened." I'm doing everything I wanted to do. So it's been an amazing ride. It's really been exciting, and now now I want to do different things. I'd like to get some movies made under the Fangoria umbrella, or even outside the Fangoria umbrella. I really want to do produce some movies, not working with people who I respect, and also some of the exciting up and coming filmmakers out there. I'd like to see those guys nurtured under the Fangoria umbrella, or just myself as an independent producer.
Well, that's phenomenal, and there's a lot of great filmmakers. We talk a lot about horror these days, and we're tradition. We love tradition. We grew up with late 70s, early 80s horror, so that to us is what we love, and that's what we hold with great reverence in our hearts. But lately I think there's been an influx of really great young filmmakers, and talking about Astron 6 and someone like Ty West and some other filmmakers like that we've talked a lot about, and I think there is a lot of talent. But the interesting thing now is with the advent of digital media and with VOD, like there's about 10 films that come out a week nowadays, and
I know. That as much as this is like the greatest time in history to be a horror fan. There's so many movies, VOD, so many TV shows.
To be a nerd in general.
When I was a kid, you were lucky if there was one horror TV show on the air, and it lasted 12 episodes before it was canceled.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you have all these great shows. American Horror Story. Last night, Scream Queens debuted. My favorite is on Showtime, Penny Dreadful. That's just amazing. Such a great show. It's just incredible that there's such a wealth, such an embarrassment of riches available to the horror today. But to me, also the downside of all that is that it's because, especially with VOD and independent horror films, is that it's become such a factory. It's become such a these movies have become just sausage, and and they don't have the staying power that the horror films of, say, the 1980s had, or even the 70s, where you couldn't wait for one of these movies like The Exorcist to be re-released in theaters again, and these films really stuck with you. They stuck to your bones. And now, like as much as I loved, say, It Follows, I thought that was terrific. I actually saw it twice, which is rare for me. That you see it, you watch it on VOD, you buy the DVD, and then a few days days later there's another one, and then another one, and they just keep getting churned out. Where years ago when I was a kid, or even when I first started at Fangoria, you were lucky you had 5 or 6 major horror films a year, and now you get 5 or 6 a week. It's such an embarrassment of riches, and because of that, I think a lot of films tend to get lost in the shuffle, or they'll get their rave reviews and you'll see them all over the web and stuff, but then something else is just waiting in the wings to take its place a few days later or a week later, and these films kind of just get almost forgotten about.
Sure.
Except maybe for the year-end best of list, but they aren't like the constant source of conversation that you used to have over movies like the Evil Dead and Halloween and Silence of the Lambs, and where they really were this cause célèbre, and so that's, to me, that's sort of a bummer that that the films aren't celebrated, not just immediately, but that they don't have that kind of, they're not part of the zeitgeist for more than a very short window.
What's crazy about it is, even though they're great films like that are coming out now, like and you kind of touched upon this, we're almost at the point now when there's so much sausage, as you will, that you have to look for the great films as opposed to have to wait for the great films. Like, again, to bring it back to Fango, when I was growing up, MZ and I have talked about stuff like this a lot. They would, you guys would, like, when there was a franchise coming out, there would be the blurb at the beginning about, like, looks like they're rolling on the new Hellraiser. And then there would be, like, a little bit about it every month because you got to fill the magazine, but like that was a big deal that there was a Hellraiser coming out. Even though the law of diminishing averages, said that this Hellraiser was going to have somebody that shot CDs out of their neck. But like, it's now it's like you'll get a story on a movie, or you'll get like the little like Tom Savini's doing this right now. And like, there's so much stuff coming out. There's not like a guarantee that you'll hear about it again until it's like in the releases now. It's so crazy how different it is. Like it's completely outrageous. Like you said, it's we're lucky, but at the same time, it's you have to hit a critical mass at some point. I think.
I've read somewhere where the horror genre is the only genre that actually turns a profit. Well, and when you think about that, it's like, back in the day, where people were making their indie films, say in the 80s, they were taking their video camera, going out and hoping for the best, maybe for something like Gourmet Zombie Chef from Hell, or Blood Cult. And then you come into the 90s, early 2000s, and you got everybody's got a video. Not everybody, but more people have video cameras, so you get to see more.
Pretty much everyone
it's
does.
Saturated, and now with technology being the way it is, you can create a film on your goddamn iPhone or smartphone. So everybody, literally, in almost the truest sense, literally anybody can go out and make a horror film or any kind of film for that matter, slap it onto YouTube and hope for the best. And 99.999 times, you're going to come up with something that you're probably not going to want to see again. But the market is completely saturated.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, again, though, like, my hypothesis has always been that even if you don't like commercial horror, like, at the end of the slasher cycle, it's still getting good horror, coming out. If horror is making money, eventually they're going to give money to somebody who's going to make a good horror movie. How would you say, Tony, that this new influx of horror has your festival submissions increased?
Oh yes, especially Fantasia. It seems like it seems like we're looking at like 5 times as many films as we were when the festival started 20 years ago, maybe even 10 times more. It's unbelievable the amount of submissions that come in, and plus, we scour the globe going to film festivals and markets, and you could easily see. Like, I'll go to Berlin at the European Film Market and Santa Monica for the American Film Market, and I could easily see over a course of 7 to 10 days 5 new horror films a day. It's just amazing how much content there is out there, and it's saturation. And I would say, a lot of it is garbage, but there's a lot. I would say if I see 5 movies a day, there's 2 or 3, at least 2 that are going to be good and worth programming at a film festival. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff being made made right now. There's a lot of stories to be told that are still being discovered by, a lot of exciting independent filmmakers out there.
Sure.
That's because the technology has gotten so cheap. It's so quick and easy. I mean, you could go out and shoot a film on your phone. Like, one of my favorite movies this summer was called Tangerine. It's another movie I programmed at Fantasia, which is the farthest thing from a horror film. It's about transgender hookers in Los Angeles, but it happened to be written and directed by a guy, Sean Baker, who grew up reading Fangoria. So I checked out the movie and I loved it. And it's a film he shot on his iPhone. It's amazing, and it looks great. Wow. It's a beautiful looking movie. It's beautifully photographed, and I would never think it would have been possible, but anybody could make a movie now.
Yeah.
And as long as they're good people making them.
Yeah, it's funny. It's everyone is very like damning of the age of the like smartphone, and everything, every negative they say is 100% true, right? But that said, I finished 90% of a book at night on my phone while like everybody else was sleeping. Like, just typing away on my little note app. It's just like like for the people who are hungry to make something for that. It's the same. The good part of right now, it's the same as 5 kids from New York picking up guitars because they like the Beach Boys, not being able to play and just playing as fast as they can and as hard as they can, and then that one sound affecting a whole generation of people all the way on a different continent. And the next thing you have is like punk rock. Like, I do feel like things like the found footage genre and, just the technology in general, just GoPros in general, like, have been the great equalizer for like filmmaking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, that said, for every Ramones, there was like 100, shitty punk bands. So, like, just because you can doesn't maybe mean that you should. But I, at the same time, like, it's pretty awesome that all these, like, love them, hate them, like, these are all, like, for the most part, there are a lot of business in there too. But somebody made this movie, and 90% of that, I feel, the art that's made it all is made with love. Like, so there's like a lot of people, like, if nothing else, they go back to their factory job in a year or nothing comes out of it. Like, a lot of people can say that they put out a movie, which is pretty cool, because, like, for better or worse, like, I grew up thinking, like, well, I'm not weird as John Carpenter. Like, I'll never be able to make a movie. Or, I'm not as crazy as Stephen King. Like, how do you have time to sit in a room and type all day? Like, what fantasy world is this? But the technology's really brought it to that. You can write on your commute. You can, like, edit on your commute. You can, I had a dear friend who would be driving down the highway to work. He kept getting in trouble. They finally asked him why. He's like, I keep getting ideas for songs. I have to pull over, pop my trunk, pull out my iPad, and I record this song so I don't forget it. And, like, then I'm 15, 20 minutes late for work, or as long as it took to record the song. It's really a magical time like that. Like, both you and Monster Zero touched upon the fact that there is so much stuff coming out, and even with the negatives, like, I always like to try to turn a positive, which is, I'm not known for being particularly positive, but in my fantasy world, I always like to try to put like a positive spin and say, like, that's still people's like stuff that's getting out, and that's always like cool and always sexy.
Right.
In my book, So we just watched Contracted 2. I personally wasn't a fan, but somebody made it, somebody was in it, like people were working, somebody got paid
Yeah,
to a limited
and there was
degree.
still passion there.
Right.
I hosted a screening of that in New York, and the audience went wild for it. They loved it. All the crazy gore and stuff, and they were really digging it. And you could tell, even if it wasn't King Lear, that a lot of passion went into that film. This quickie sequel. The people who cared. They might not have had the greatest screenplay in the world or the best direction, but the people made it really wanted to have fun and entertain the audience, and revel in the gore for 90 minutes.
Yeah, well, Herschel Gordon Lewis has always said that. He said that's the very first rule of making a movie is entertain the audience.
Right.
That's the very first rule, and entertainment and entertaining the audience. It's like it covers a wide range, because each person is different. So while some people might like one movie, another person might hate it.
Right.
And also what I also learned is because I make films myself, is that as far as I know, every movie has at least one fan.
Sure.
And if you were able to create that one fan for your film, then you've done your job.
That's a very nice point, MZ. That's very very well said.
Probably not going to pay the bills, but you're right.
No, it's not going to pay the bills at all. But if you can make that one person happy, then
a lot of people like this podcast, but I had to roll a hobo on the way over here to get this iced coffee. So, going to the bridge and steal money from homeless people. So
I do want to touch on that one point though, Tony, and bring it back around. So obviously you've had a lot more submissions for Fantasia.
Yes.
Would you say, and on the whole, would you say the quality is still up to par of the films that do get selected, or do you find that in this day and age, because it is easier to make a film and it's more it's more accessible, that people don't have the craft that directors in the 80s may have had or something like that? What's your take on that?
I think now that there are so many films being submitted, it's actually gotten more competitive. And say a couple of these movies 15 years ago, we would have programmed them in a heartbeat. Now it has to be really, really special for us to program it, because we have about 120 slots. But I would say out of that 120, there's probably another 30 movies that we wish we could have programmed that are, almost just as good or almost as good as the films that do get selected. So it's like a Sophie's Choice kind of situation almost, where you have to really be brutal to cancel out films that generally you would have programmed if you didn't have any restrictions on the number of movies you had to accept. There's a lot of good stuff being made now. There's a generation of filmmakers who really seem to have been inspired by the great filmmakers who came before, and coming up with some really compelling stories. It's not all found footage and all devil possession movies. There's some really unique stuff being done, unusual and challenging works, and not just horror films. And I also see this in documentaries about the genre and other off-genre stuff. This is a real, I think, definitely a golden age for horror fans right now.
I think another great side effect of it is, and it's just the opposite in music, I feel like everything in music is generally really genrefied and very rigid about it. There's a lot more fuck it in movies. Like, I don't think you would have got something as kind of genre bending as, say, Spring a few years back. You know what I mean?
Right.
I watched that, and as much as I enjoyed it, one thing that kept resonating with me was, who's this for exactly other than me? Because if I show this to the people that like the films which this most resemble, other than the tentacles, they're gonna think it's insane because of the tentacles. It came out. The Battery is another example of just something that is on paper very genre classic, but in delivery is very, very, very different. It's really, really cool, the amount of we don't. Whatever, I'm making my movie, and I like horror, and I like, this strange cycle of films from this other filmmaker, so I'm gonna kind of mash that up, and that's what's gonna happen. Like, it's cool. I do have a question. I've been like even before I knew you were on the show, like every once in a while, like I always say like this, like because for me and Monster Zero and like the other guys in the room, like you were like the Stan Lee of horror for us. Like you were the you were the guy that you'd fist pump when you'd see like on one of those great documentaries or whatever else, because like like, all right, well, here's the guy who knows what he's talking about because he's fucking front row. And, like, there are two things that I think are very uniquely cinematically 2013 to 2016 that I feel I can't remember another time of this exactly happening like this. And maybe with your unique point of view, you can. So if I can ask about them, the first one I'll do is a little more... not esoteric, but it's a little more vague, but I'm sure you'll know what I mean. This group of independent filmmakers that are essentially making higher quality stuff because they're all helping each other make their movies. The Ty West, the Adam Wingards, these guys who are all involved in each other's films. I can't remember another time seeing that, at least not in music. Like certainly, growing up, I always gravitated to like, I thought like CBGB's was probably like so cool, and I thought Athens, Georgia, because it was all these artists that were working to, like this person produced this person's record, and like, can you remember another time when there was like a collective of filmmakers like that, like putting out like a quality of stuff?
No,
like
not
that?
really. No. Maybe. And even in the 80s, which was, a real high point for horror when, people like Raimi, Carpenter, Cronenberg, Romero were, at their high points, they pretty much worked in their own little circles.
Right.
You had Cronenberg up in Toronto and Romero in Pittsburgh and Raimi in Detroit. So they had their own little enclaves. But no, that's a great point you bring up, because it is a very unique situation. Like I saw Tales of Halloween at Fantasia, and that, a lot of the guys you mentioned, they hang out together, and now they work and help out on each other's movies, which is really kind of cool. That they're all helping each other out, and they're not as not really necessarily competitive or backstabbing. That they just want to make films that they could all enjoy amongst themselves.
Right.
And they seem to be want to help each other along the way. It's a really cool thing that's going on.
Have you ever, in all your time in this industry, and we talk about it a lot here, you hear a lot about the superhero movies being like kind of having like a stranglehold on cinema right now, but there's kind of, for better or worse or otherwise, another culprit that really has like a stake in everything that's going on in multiplexes right now. Almost like on a monthly basis, they have like a release snuck in there. Have you ever, and I'm not talking about an overall critique, because some of it's brilliant, some of it's not so good, but all of it is like, for something that's so prolific, I would say thoughtful to a degree anyway. Have you ever seen anything like Blumhouse's stranglehold on like horror releasing now?
It's really it's kind of wild. So many different companies are working with them and releasing their films. Now they're releasing their own films that they acquire, like Green Inferno. It's really, maybe the closest thing would be Hammer, because there was a time in the 70s and the 60s where Hammer films were being released by 20th Century Fox, by Columbia, by Warner Brothers. They were such a factory that other big American distributors were picking up their films. So, but I'd say that's probably the closest to that kind of Blumhouse model. But it really is something where they're creating a real brand. They have created a real brand, and these films are all inspiring their own franchises, like The Purge and Insidious and Sinister. It's really become a factory.
Right.
And I'd like to see them, instead of doing part 2, 3, 4 like they've been doing, but start throwing the net a little further wider, and looking at some of the great horror authors that have that are still
Sure.
few films have been made out of their works, and taking some more chances. I'm hoping we'll see more chances being made by those guys, and less cookie cutter like movies like Ouija and Lazarus Effect, where
Right.
we've seen these stories before. And please, no more found footage movies. Though I'd like to visit,
I'm excited to
that's
see
a
that.
Blumhouse movie. I thought that was really well done and fun in a kitschy kind of way. They really are the go-to place for horror right now. But there's and they're trying to engage a lot of the horror the horror the up-and-coming horror people and the more respected horror
Sure.
indie people. Like they hired Mike Flanagan, who did Oculus, to do Ouija 2, and the guy who did Sinister 2, this Irish director who done The Citadel, whose name escapes me. So it seems like they're savvy enough to know that they want to bring a little extra to the table. It's not like necessarily like the studio franchise horror. They do want to get a different perspective on franchise horrors and the Roman numerals and the sequels and stuff. So that's encouraging. But I want to see them continue to take chances on some of these these really cutting edge filmmakers and try to do different things. That's not just to fill an assembly line.
Right. Yeah. It's really just a matter of, I feel like one Insidious is going to pay the bills, right? Like, so like you don't need to put out the Insidious and the Sinister too, like and
And they definitely are kind of oversaturating the market again. Instead of releasing 12 say mediocre horror movies a year, why don't you release 6 really, really good ones?
Sure. It's funny. I was in the theater. I think it was I'm 90% sure it was The Gift, but if I'm wrong, forgive me. I sat down and the lights went down, and I looked at my special lady friend and said, I am in a movie theater in 2015, and I'm not seeing a superhero movie or a Blumhouse movie. And then the logo came on. I was like, son of a...
Yeah. That's a great thing about film festivals is that you see, it's the only place to see a lot of these kind of movies that don't get picked up for a wide release or don't come from an American company. You really discover the future of horror at a Fantasia or a Fantastic Fest. That's really the place to go. At one like Fantasia or Fantastic Fest, you'll see enough movies to last you a whole year in just a matter of weeks, and it's really it beats anything else that you'll see at the multiplex.
Yeah. It's like a film festival is always something that like it's a lot of my friends go to like a lot of them. Like I just feel like I'm so jealous of your job because like I at least once a week got to show up here and have a 1080p camera pointed at my big fat head, and like it's hard to escape. It really is just like I thought that those two things particularly, like and there are other things like Scream Factory that are a really jacked up version of some of the DVD repertory houses that we had when when that stuff was going on, but like I thought like I couldn't. I'm glad to have someone with your knowledge confirm that, because thinking back, like it was just like two very uniquely mid 2000s thing,
Yeah. Like I said, I think Hammer would be the closest equivalent.
Yeah. The interesting thing, and you talk about seeing a year's worth of flicks at like Fantasia or Fantastic Fest, and that's kind of where we've been trying to live in the last couple of years, as far as we take a look at what you guys are programming up there at Fantasia and what they do at Fantastic, and even TIFF and some of the others, and that's typically where we try to cherry pick some of the films that we review, because what we do is we don't really do the big releases. Occasionally we will talk about them, but they don't need us to talk about them. So we try to live in the VOD sphere where stuff, and we don't have a tremendous following. We have a decent following, but if we can help some of these filmmakers and some of these artists out a little bit to get the word out there that people who may not have heard about their film, that's sort of what we're trying to do. So it's really cool to see that you guys program so many cool films up at Fantasia and some of the other fests, and there's some really, really quality stuff coming out of there, and I wish it was something that more people were kind of privy to. And I think there's a lot of our peers and people in the podcast world that obviously know about that, but but the layman, the normal person, certainly doesn't know about
horror writer
these
Richard
films.
Lehman.
No,
that guy knows this shit.
But
yeah, that's a great mission statement that you guys have, certainly, and it'd be nice if more people followed that, because there's so much stuff that gets overlooked that deserves to be touted more. Like some of the ones you mentioned before, like The Battery is a good example, and there's so many movies like that, and so many good foreign films too that tend to get overlooked.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to switch gears really quickly, though, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Fangoria Radio, because this is something that happened, I guess it was around 2006, late 2000s, and so it was Dee Snider, Debbie Rochon, and yourself, and I was curious if you could talk a little bit about that experience, how that came to be, and what your thoughts were about Fangoria Radio.
Sure. Well, in a nutshell, it was one of the greatest experiences in my life working on that for 4 years. Once a week, Friday nights from 10 p.m. to 1 3-hour show, and we had the A to Z of horror, on Fangoria Radio, from Dario Argento A to Rob Zombie Z, and everything in between. And the way it came about was Fangoria had been purchased by a company called the Creative Group around 2005, and they had a big bank loan, and they wanted to really make Fangoria a household name. They wanted to become sort of like the Disney of horror, and have Fangoria TV shows and movies and radio shows, et cetera, et cetera. And they had it in at Sirius satellite radio, which was kind of new at the time. And the Sirius and Fangoria came together to do this radio show. Dee Snider was a friend of Fangoria, and also we thought he had a lot of radio experience as a host. I knew him quite well. He had involved me a little in the marketing of Strangeland back in the day. So Dee was a friend. Debbie Rochon also, she had a lot of radio experience, and she's got a great personality, and she was like one of the leading scream queens at the time, and her and Dee had a great camaraderie on the radio. I was the third wheel, and I'd come on and do the horror news and stuff, and I helped book a lot of the guests on the show, and it was a lot of fun. It was great because we'd have a lot of regulars calling in every week, and a lot of people plan their Friday nights around Fangoria Radio. We had a lot of cool in studio guests, like Bruce Campbell was in studio, Mel Brooks, one of the highlights of my life, having him on. He was supposed to be on for like a 10-minute segment. He stayed for like an hour.
That's the best.
Almost an hour and a half, I think. Yeah, we couldn't get rid of him, and we had a lot of we had Twisted Sister even played in studio. We had live bands. Starship Cobra, they were in, or is it Cobra Starship? I forget which. Yep. They were live in studio singing Snakes on a Plane. It was cool. We did a lot of really fun stuff. Dee Snider used to always tease me. They used to say I looked and dressed like an accountant, because I used to wear suits to the Fangoria convention. So over a series of 4 or 5 shows, they did this Tony makeover, which is a lot of fun. They had me got all gopped out with tattoos and new wardrobe, and that was fun. And then they unveiled me at one of the Fangoria conventions. I look back at those times, and they were really special and really once in a lifetime. experience working on that. I really miss it. The first show we did, we had Clive Barker on, and week after week, we had just had so many cool people, and it was so easy to book guests too. Just with the serious. The fact that it was a national radio show, even if only a couple of hundred people listened to it, people were just dying to be on the show. They, publicists were always, banging down our door trying to bring talent in. It was so easy to have 3 hours worth of guests. And the show was jam-packed. I wish we could have done like one show just on a Clive Barker or a Bruce Campbell or whatever. But every week we you'd have one 10-minute segment with someone, and then you had to go on to the next guest. And it was just jam-packed. There was so many people, like I said, who were just climbing over themselves to be on Fangoria Radio. It was just an amazing experience. It was a great time. And also, in the early days, we filmed a lot of them because we were trying to launch Fangoria TV back then as a broadband channel, and we were kind of ahead of the curves back then. Back in 2005, we didn't realize streaming would become so big, and it was the president of the company, this guy Tom DeFeo. He thought Fangoria TV could be this internet portal, but he was a few years too soon. Yeah. It's a shame because so they would film the serious show, the live show, and then they would edit it down to like a half hour, an hour, and then played on Fangoria Radio, which was a subscription, internet channel, but it just never caught on, unfortunately. If it was too soon, people really weren't up to speed, literally, and when with the technology, and if he would have come out with it. Back when the company had this big fat loan that they could take chances on these projects, it could have really taken off today, I think. And it still might, that's still a dream of the company president to, have Fangoria channel.
Has there been any? I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere, and maybe maybe you are just not. You don't know. Maybe I'm privy to what they're doing at that end of the company at this point, but. Has there been any thought of releasing those? Because I feel like nothing would get interest more than like getting those out. Even if they were released as like a podcast now, or they were released as like some sort of premium content on the Fangoria site. Like, I would like. Yeah, it's just a matter of the tapes still exist. They're probably in a warehouse somewhere. There has been talk of it. But Fangoria, it's such a bare bones operation now that they just don't have the staff. And plus, everybody's spread out all over the world who work on Fangoria now because of the technology. Like the editor of Fangoria is in Canada, Chris Alexander. The guy who designs the magazine's in New Jersey. The guy who owns the company is in Long Island. The managing editor, Mike Ingold, is in Westchester. Our marketing chief, our ad person, was in L.A. So everybody's spread out all over the place now. Before, we used to be all in one office under one roof, and it would have been a lot easier to do what you're saying to make these shows available to put them online. But now everybody's just spread out doing their own thing. That sometimes these little side things and fun projects just go by the wayside and don't get the attention they deserve. But the stuff does exist. We also have like 24 episodes of this video series that we did called Screamography, where I interview a lot of these horror masters for a biography, an hour-long biography chat with them. We did a bunch of those, and we got all this great content. We did trailer shows. Debbie Rochon used to host a trailer show for us where she would do funny commentary before classic horror movie trailers, and we do have all this great content, and hopefully people will get to see it someday or get to experience it some way. There's a price tag on it too, because you, not just once but like 3 times, like you said something that like makes something for this 80s horror nerd. You said Dee Snider, Clive Barker, right there for me, sold. Like you don't like you can. I'll just hand you the check. You can write it in, and then followed it up with D. Snyder, Bruce Campbell. D. Snyder, Mel Brooks. Like, and it's just like, you know, like I'm like Monster Zero writing checks over here.
Yeah, no, we got all these great interviews, and you know, we should be exploiting it more. Sadly, when Wes Craven died, have a great hour interview with him, and nobody could get their hands on the masters, the tapes of this, you know, great on-camera interview. It's in storage somewhere, and this would have been the perfect opportunity to throw it up on our website, you know, to pay tribute to the great Wes Craven, but you know, it couldn't happen fast enough. Unfortunately, it was, you know, we didn't have the personnel to go tracking it down and making sure it was digitized properly and all that stuff. So it, you know, it just falls by the wayside, unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah, and that's something that I was really curious, because that's something that speaks to us, because, you know, even though we do a podcast, we do stream, you know, we stream the show live on Wednesday nights, and we, you know, I think we look more towards radio shows than we do podcasts. You know, don't get us wrong, we love listening to podcasts, and we have a lot of friends in the world, but you know, we've been
in the podcast world. In real life, we don't have very many.
Yeah.
Like, you'll look at it.
We're the only friends we got.
Yeah. We've been.
And I don't even like most of these guys.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but we've been likened to the old Howard Stern show back in the day, with, you know, but with horror and
Less girls.
With less girls, yeah. And hearing you talk about Fangoria Radio, I didn't have Sirius XM radio at the time, so I never got to listen to it, but just reading about it and, you know, watching clips of it, I saw some clips on YouTube, and that's something that I would have loved, and that probably would have been, it's funny, it probably would have been hugely influential on this show, even though hearing you talk about it, it's similar to what we try to do. So, you know, we do a 3-hour show, and sometimes more, but you know, we typically do 3 hours, and you know, it's more of a radio show, and just hearing you talk about it, like, it just makes me want something like that. I wish, you know, I wish it was something that was available, and you know, I understand the difficulties around it, and how it's not quite so easy to do.
It's hard
these
for
days.
us to do this thing, and we don't have to put out a magazine.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what did the show in was it was a fairly expensive show to produce.
Yeah.
And Sirius was putting all their effort at the time into Howard Stern. Everything was Howard Stern. All their advertising personnel were devoted to getting, they had a big paycheck to pay Howard, and they all the effort was gone to securing him advertising revenue and publicity attention all went to pretty much Howard, and we thank the Fangoria company, we pretty much footed a lot of the bill, and we didn't really get the support and attention that we deserved from Sirius, even though we got huge ratings for them. But the show was very, like I said, it was expensive to produce, and the guy who owns Fangoria kind of felt like, why am I carrying this a whole nut myself? Why isn't Sirius kicking in more to make this happen? They're very happy with the numbers they're getting,
of course.
They didn't, they really didn't want to help out more than what the little they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I just wanted to touch on that. So I appreciate you taking a little trip down memory lane, talking about Fangoria Road, Fangoria Radio. You did mention Wes Craven, and we did a couple weeks ago. We had our first induction into our Hall of Heroes, and of course it was Wes Craven. It was unfortunate the catalyst for inducting him, but I was just wondering if maybe you had it doesn't have to be a long story, but if you had any stories or anything to convey about the the late great Wes Craven.
Well, what I loved about Wes was that the word no didn't exist in his vocabulary. He was one of the, and even when he became pretty much a household name out in the mainstream with the Scream movies, any time I needed him for something Fangoria related, say an interview, an appearance at one of our conventions, Fangoria Radio, he never said no. He was always there. He always and he was always a fascinating conversationalist. He was great. I really liked Wes. He was a very humble man. He was very, he was kind of quiet, but he was very intelligent. He was, I always considered him the professor of horror, and he was always there for me. Like I said, anytime I needed something, I could always count on him to show up. When I first started work for the New York City Horror Film Festival, we wanted to induct him into, we wanted to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award. And he jumped on a plane and came out for it, and he didn't have to appear in front of 100 horror films on a set, give up his Saturday night for that, but he did.
Yeah.
That was the really wonderful thing about him. I remember one convention in L.A. He was supposed to appear on Saturday, but for some reason he got mixed up and he didn't show up. And so when he realized that the next, when he got the message, for me, Wes, where are you? You're on stage at 20 minutes. It was already too late. But then he came down on Sunday and, stayed to, at the end of the day so we could squeeze him in just for the people who were counting on seeing him the day before. He didn't have to do that, but he did. That was the kind of guy Wes was. He was a great guy. I'm really going to miss him and miss his movies and, rapping with him. He was a great guy. He was definitely one of the best out of that generation of filmmakers.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a big loss to the world, but especially the horror community for sure.
Yeah, I did a piece for ChillerTV.com. That's the website offshoot of Chiller, which is a sister channel of Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
And I reached out to 13 of Wes's friends to give a little anecdote for the top 13 memories of Wes Craven from the people who knew him, and they came out of the woodwork. Emailed these people or called them, and everybody wanted to say something nice about Wes, from David Arquette to Mick Garris, everybody. All these great actors and actresses who worked with them, had the Langenkamp, Robert Englund, et cetera, et cetera. They all came up with these really beautiful stories and memories of Wes that it was really, really touching. He really meant a lot to a lot of people. He was a very fatherly figure on the sets of his films, and really steered people in the right direction, even outside of the movies. So people, if you're interested in Wes, you should check out that piece, because it shows a side of him that a lot of people might not know about.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds fantastic, and it doesn't surprise me from what I've heard about Wes that people would come out of the woodwork to talk about him and to celebrate his life. So that's really, really sweet. We'll have to definitely track that down, and people out there should definitely go track that down from Chiller TV. Monster Zero, before we start to wrap things up, do you have any questions that you wanted to...
This is just to put in perspective, because we always say here, honor our legends. This is a big deal for you, right, MZ? Like, this is I know what this means to you. This is a really cool opportunity for you.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm nervous as hell here. I did meet you one time. It was at the Boston Weekend of Horrors back in 1990.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
What are you? You must have been 5 years old.
He was 55.
He wishes.
Yeah. No, I was how old? I was 19 then.
Wow.
I'm
holy
44
cow.
now.
Oh wow! Oh, you're still a baby. Yeah, that was I remember that convention quite well. That was the only one we did in Boston, and we probably could have done more because it was the only first one. That was the first one. But the guy who was emceeing the show with me that weekend, he wasn't the usual horror guy from Creation Entertainment, our convention partner. It was this guy Gary Berman, so he really wasn't into horror. So that kind of put the kibosh on it. But the other guy I used to do the shows with, Adam Malin, he just loved it, and we couldn't do enough cities. But I remember that convention quite well because we had Jeffrey Combs there, Herschel Gordon Lewis, I think Linnea Quigley.
Yes, Linnea Quigley
was probably there.
Sam Raimi was there.
Who? Ted Raimi or Sam Raimi? Sam Raimi was at that. Wow, I forgot about that.
I still have the flyer actually.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, I still got that.
And we did a screening of I Come in Peace.
Yes.
During that weekend, and it was at the Congress Hotel. I can't remember the name
Park
of
Plaza Hotel.
Park Plaza. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, I drove there because it was only 3 hours from New York City.
Yeah, I remember.
Wow.
It was a great time. It was a great
actually, no, I didn't. I did. No, I flew there. So I remember waiting in the airport with Howard Berger to go back when it came time to leave. He was there too. Howard
Yes,
Berger.
Berger was there too. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You don't
yeah,
want to drive
I miss the
anywhere around
conventions.
here.
What's that?
You don't want to drive anywhere around here.
Yeah.
But I do have a question to ask you, Tony. And this is in regards to Fangoria magazine. Now, since you left the position of editor of Fangoria, Chris Alexander has gone to. It seems that Chris Alexander has gone to a more retrospective format, giving more attention to the classics. Do you feel that this is an acknowledgement of today's horror films are loaded with remakes or films that fans don't care about, or placating to a fan base that encompasses the films that we grew up on?
Probably more the latter. The reason why Chris went more retrospective heavy was because of the internet. You know, fans could read, a preview of, the new Blumhouse movie on the web, months before it appears in the print edition of Fangoria. It was all about the lead time. And so by the time Fangoria appears on the newsstands now, people have already read about these films, on the web. The writers will be on the sets of these movies and interviewing these people, months before the movies ever come out a lot of the time. And, so Fangoria started getting very dated before it ever debuted. Like when I first started at Fangoria in the 1980s, the most popular part of the magazine was the Terra teletype, something that we banged out in 15 minutes. And that was a section that everybody went to as soon as they got the magazine.
Yep.
And now the Terra teletype doesn't even exist because all that stuff is on the web, late breaking news. So in order to sustain interest in Fangoria, Chris went retrospective heavy because a lot of stuff on the web really isn't geared for retrospective.
Right.
Or people go to the web to see what's new. They don't want to see what's old. Where the magazine celebrates what's old for the older generation of fans who can't find that stuff on the web, or they want to rediscover the stuff they grew up with. So and it definitely works for him. It's a different Fangoria from when I was doing it, but the magazine had to grow by going backwards.
Right. Which is interesting too, because I can't imagine there has not been. I used to get Fangoria, like when comics were 35 cents, so I bought every single comic, and then because nobody was paying me mind, with the next $5 I go get the Conan magazines and Fangoria and a million other things I shouldn't be reading at that age. And so I can't imagine a time in my life without Fangoria. But that said, we do new movies here every single week, but because of the internet, because of and it never even really occurred to me to this conversation, but I think I am, I think they're making a magazine now that celebrates the time in Fangoria before, which I think is really, really interesting, I'm still getting more of what I loved about Fangoria growing up.
Yeah, that's you really hit the nail on the head, because that's pretty much Chris's mission statement. That's he wants to recreate the Fangoria that he grew up with. I always thought, and it was always, the pressure was always put on me back in back when I was editing magazine, is that you have to chase after new readers. You have to, cover the new films, and you have to be real popular and mainstream. So, people will want to, pick up the magazine on the newsstand. You have to get the younger. You got to get younger people to pick up the magazine. Because the people, the old timers are going to die off, and there'll be no one left reading the magazine. So you have to keep building your audience where it's not like that anymore. It's more of a celebration of the old.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting, and I think it's probably a smart way to take it, because, like you said, nowadays people can look on Twitter, instant gratification, and as soon as there's breaking news, it's trending, it's out there, everyone knows about it. So very different time and place. Yeah, for sure. And we've already kept you quite a while, Tony, and I know you're a very busy guy. So what I want to do is I want to start to wrap things up, because I don't want to have a Mel Brooks here where we keep you for 2 hours. But But what I do want to do is
Fantasia this year is mysteriously short 100 films.
can point directly to us. That's we're the reason. So, do any of you guys, before we wrap up, any of you guys have any final questions you just want to ask Tony before we finish up
I
here?
could keep him all day, probably just talking shit.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, like we've had a lot of great people on, and it's such an honor to have you here, Tony. Like,
it's really nice to see you, man.
The fact that you're making my buddy here, that's been my buddy for a long time, grinning at ear, talking to you, like means like as much to anybody in the whole entire world. Because Monster Zero is the most bitter, awful person in the world. The fact that you're making him smile like an 8-year-old on Christmas Day, like
that's
you know,
really
is
sweet of
a
you
big
guys. And it's been a real pleasure talking to both of you as well, because you really know your stuff and you're very conversational, and it was a real fun walk down memory lane with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we say goodbye to you, Tony, what I want is, if you want to plug anything, please take a moment to plug whatever you want to. And then also, if you could leave us with maybe a few either films or filmmakers to keep our eye on.
Wow. Sure. Let's see. Well, the plug, I would say, if you haven't picked up the Fangoria Coffee Table book yet, there are a few copies left at cemeterydance.com. Then I'd urge people to check out Attack on Titan when it opens in theaters in September 30th. You could go to the website attackontitanthemovie.com to find out more on that. And because it's so unique for a Japanese monster movie to be playing on the big screen, so I think that's really something to celebrate, the fact that you could get to see it in your multiplexes, this epic story of kaiju and heroes fighting it out. So definitely check that out. And let's see. And people to look filmmakers to celebrate. Well, I'm a big fan of people. A lot of the usual suspects on the scene now, like Lucky McKee, Ty West. I really dig them. Neil Marshall. I liked Tales of Halloween this summer. And let's see. Oh, there's got to be a million more.
I'm sure there is.
Hellions, I like that a lot. That new Bruce McDonnell Halloween-themed horror movie that I think might be coming out this Friday, actually, on VOD. I like that a lot. There's been a lot of these great Irish horror films that have been coming out by a company called Fantastic Factory in Ireland and the UK. They have another one called The Hallow I would recommend to people. And let's see. There's a really fun exorcism kind of spoof that I dug a lot called Ace's Possession. I thought that was fun. Oh boy, there's so many. Gee whiz. Oh, you mentioned the Editor already. That was a real fun giallo style movie. I like Goodnight Mommy a lot, which came out just came out. That's on VOD. That was good. Let's see what else. Manson Family Vacation. That's again, it's a dark comedy from the Duplass brothers were Duplass brothers were involved with that, and Tobin Bell is in it, and it's really really fun and also kind of creepy at the same time. So check that one out.
Awesome. Well, that gives us some stuff to go on. Some of it we were definitely aware of. We have Hellions coming up soon. We're going to be talking about, and we're going to be.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. We're going to definitely be checking out Attack on Titan, thanks to you as well. So
great.
We'll definitely be covering that on the show. So lots of great stuff out there, and we definitely appreciate, because some of the stuff we knew of and some we didn't. So we're gonna have to go track that down. And I would definitely implore everyone to go check out the Fangoria cover to cover book, because it looks phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It was really fun putting it together, and it has like anecdotes and commentary on like 300 issues.
Yeah.
What went on behind the scenes, why certain movies made the cover and others didn't, and it was a cool book. Yeah. Bruce Campbell wrote the foreword, so I think the fans will really dig it.
Very exciting. I remember MZ and I cried the day that warehouse that had all those back issues.
Oh,
in it,
yeah.
like,
I remember
You know,
that.
it like definitely put a dent in our dream of like, you know, filling in those, you know, having the whole Fangoria collection.
Yeah.
So this would be a nice placeholder.
Speaking of instant gratification, we just got a comment in the chat room. I just wanted to mention while you're still on air, our friend Robert E. Ronsky, who's an author, he put out a book called The Horror Crossover Encyclopedia, which
What a
is
great
very,
book.
very cool. He's hanging out, and he says, "What a great interview! Tony Timpone has such an interesting life and career. This was so great to listen to." So,
Oh, wow.
so there's some of that.
Thanks so much.
Instant gratification. So, Tony, once again, I can't thank you enough. This was a lot of fun for us, and just to kind of reminisce. And we all of us here have you know read and looked at Fangoria for so many years. So you've had definitely an impact on sort of where we are right now. So for that, we definitely appreciate it, and we definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to.
Oh, my pleasure, guys.
Yeah.
It's really been a pleasure and an honor rapping with you guys for the last hour or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely keep in touch, and maybe down the road we'll talk about some other stuff and find out some great films that are going to be coming out there. You're going to be featuring
Great.
in the
Thanks,
festivals.
guys, and real pleasure, and I wish you
Pleasure's all
continued
ours,
success with your great show.
Thank you so much,
Trick
Tony.
or Treat Radio rules.
All right, Tony. Thanks again,
All right,
and we'll
take care,
definitely.
guys. Thank you.
All right, take care,
Bye.
Tony. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, this wasn't the day we blew our streak.
What streak would that be?
Like
the guests?
only having like, I don't know how many there's been, but like probably getting close to like 30 or 40 now. Like we have had like just only awesome guests.
I know.
not a bad guest in all of them. Like just so great, and like that, again, another like bona fide legend, like hanging out and just being like a cool cat to hang out with. And again, I wasn't blowing smoke. I know you guys were about to make fun of me, but like it was important. It was certainly important to me, and everyone knows how much I love Fangoria and how important it is to me, and how big of a fan of Tony I am. But it just meant so much to see MZ be so happy and so into it. I can only equate it to how I must have looked during the Mike Allred interview.
Yeah.
So it was really. I wanted to make sure that he knew how happy him being here made.
Oh no, I mean, I didn't start reading Fangoria until 1989. And that's pretty late, but I wasn't even aware of Fangoria magazine until 1989. That was when I was on vacation at Hampton Beach. I went to one of the convenience stores, and I saw Fangoria magazine, and it had a cover of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child.
Nice.
And I'm like, holy shit, would you look at this? And I'd never seen it before.
It blows your mind apart, right?
It did. I'm like, I got to have this. I bought it, and next thing you know, I became a subscriber for like the next 10 years.
I remember one great Fangoria memory I have is I was a lapsed Fangoria reader for a little while, because when I hit high school, I would get it if there was a new, like when Army of Darkness was coming out and stuff like that. But like I sort of felt like it was pandering a little bit. Is that fair? And Tony even touched upon it, like. They really were pushing the magazine to like kind of go after the new people, but there was, and I could be misremembering a little bit, but the potential hotness coming out was going to be the Chainsaw 4.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one everybody was excited about, and there was a little. It looked like an insert. It looked almost like mimeographed, right? Like where they were just kind of like saying like, this film is a fucking train wreck from start to finish, and it may not even come out now for all these different reasons. And I remember thinking, like, this was revolutionary to me, because they're telling me not to see this movie. They're not just shilling it to me. Like I remember where I got it at Wolfie. Remember Dragon's Lair?
Oh yeah.
I was on my way from where I lived.
No, he's talking about the comic shop, right?
Yeah, the comic shop, which is in Webster Square. And I was on my way from where I lived, which was down in the down on the lake, to where my parents' house is, which is right down the street from where the Raven Shadow Mansion is now. And I would always stop at that bus stop at Webster Square to go to Dragon's Lair. And I remember being on the bus reading that article and being like, just being like, I'm not even sure what I'm looking at right now. Like, this magazine, whose bread and butter is to sell horror, is telling me not to buy this, And like I had it, like again, it is history, me buying that Evil Dead 2 cover off the shelf, like everyone knows how impactful that was to me and bringing it over Tiny's house and pouring through it. But that particular issue, I never lapsed on Fangoria again after that. Like, I sat through a lot of fucking Leprechauns in Space stories and everything else. But, like, I was in because I really felt like the people at Fangoria, unlike maybe Wizard Magazine, right, whose job was to sell me comics, right? Like, I felt like the people in Fangoria were, at that time, were horror journalists, Like, so for my, little kid mind, I was in high school, so I was like 25. It meant something.
All right, well, MZ has to go. We have some feedback to get to, so I'm glad you stuck around, MZ. I know it's really late for you,
awesome,
but
worth it.
In your words, how fucking cool was that?
Oh, it was very fucking cool. It was well, first of all, like I said before, it's about time I got involved in an interview with somebody. That wasn't comic related, because I know dick about that sort of stuff.
Wow, what comics do you read?
I don't read any comics, man.
I thought you read the dick ones.
No, those aren't comics. Those are.
Wow.
So
the Incredible Dick.
Yeah, let me subscribe to those.
It turns green.
No, but it was that, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a
Cool
blast.
cat.
Yeah.
And I'll be biased. That was my favorite interview.
Hey,
Hey, why the hell? Why not? I mean,
sure, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a blast. And I used to be on the
Fango boards.
on the Fango boards.
You were like
and
a fucking legend.
Yeah, you were.
I was the #1 poster on the Fango
were.
boards.
We should have
too.
told him that.
I know. I can't believe
You're the
it.
fucking guy.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Yeah.
Like, I almost, in the back of my head, like, I didn't draw the conclusion, but, like, when I said Monster Zero the first time, I was like, I wonder if he'll know. Because, like...
Was that your name on the board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monster
Okay,
Zero.
that's what
It
I
was.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a fucking... Like, I would go on there, and, like, I know him, and I love him, but, like, he would say something on that fucking board, and everybody would fucking fall in line. They'd be like, "Oh, yo say de dummy me," and I'd be like, "Yeah, but guys, that's Monster Zero," and they'd be like, "Yeah, you know him," and I'm like, what is fucking happening right now?
It's too bad that board isn't still around, right?
Yeah, well, it was Fangoria. Then it turned over to Fearworks.
Fearworks, right?
And Joe Cena was.
Dun, 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 dun.
Can't read me.
Joe Cena was running the boards at that point.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of that Creepshow Radio crew came out of that board, right? Like Harris and
yeah.
Dane.
Yeah, I think Chris McGibbon was in there. I'm trying to think who else. I don't remember who else. I know Chris McGibbon did.
Right.
And I did.
I was just so fucking
Maybe
jealous.
Lewis
'Cause,
Paul.
like,
I don't know.
Like, I'll admit it. I'll be straight. I was so jealous, like, because there's only one other than, like, work, like, for music message boards. The only one I went on, like, message board I went on was Ring of Honor. And, like, despite the fact I felt like I knew a lot about wrestling, everyone treated me like I was a complete fucking asshole. Then I would, like, pop over to Fangoria and go, "Oh, let's see what's going on here." They're fucking carrying you around like King Holly Race. It'd be like, and like you wouldn't even
Why are they
fucking,
carrying
you wouldn't
them?
even fucking say anything. You'd be like, "I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is good," and it'd be like, 3,000 responses. Texas Chainsaw,
the fucking Ewoks and 3PO.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna eat Han Solo.
But no, that was
they
a
like-
blast. That was
See
a fucking
Baldio.
blast.
Yeah.
I had a ball with that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Good
we
job.
could probably go on more.
Yeah.
We can revisit it next week if we
Yeah.
have to. But why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to the folks, MZ?
Yes, and thank you definitely for Tony Tapone. Tom C.
It's like fucking
Great
3
shirt.
degrees, right? We had Tony Tabone, who like
Tabone?
who I almost got hit in the face with a fucking suspender for anybody who didn't see that. So I'm sorry for the pronunciation, Fupa. But we had Tony, who was a big influence on Monster Zero,
Yep.
and then we have Tom C, that loves Monster Zero.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Real quick,
We have Michael Ravenshall that has no fucking clue what's going on at all.
No, I got some shit to say, but you didn't let me talk.
We're better off that way.
I read Starlog. Comic scene.
Real quick before you go, MZ, Melissa in the chat room says, I was too on the Fango boards. I did all the trivia. She says, I remember Uncle Creepy. I think I was Creepy Girl there. Wonder if we talked on it. I did all the trivia threads.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember
Zero's
Creepy
the one
Girl.
that always asked you what you were wearing.
I remember Creepy Girl. I remember
he was
Creepy
Uncle
Girl.
Creepy.
No, I remember her. Okay.
That's crazy, right?
That is crazy.
I thought that's where you guys might have known each other.
Even
but I
more
guess not.
crazy
All
still
right.
that her name is still Creepy Girl.
Yeah, you did
The
put two and
comparison.
two together.
No,
Wait,
I
what?
didn't. Well, hey, I'm Monster Zero, and I was Monster Zero there, and Tony didn't get put two and two together.
Yeah, well,
He's a busy fucking guy.
He probably didn't.
hang out with us troglodytes.
When he's hanging out with Sam Raimi, oh shit, Monster Zero.
What did that asshole have to say today?
Yeah. No,
look,
no,
Texas
Ramiro. I'll
Chainsaw
call you
is-
back later.
Yeah,
What's that
Texas
fucking
Chainsaw
Mongoloid
is
saying?
good. Yeah, right. They like it.
All right,
All
MZ,
right.
I know you need to run. It's
Yeah.
midnight now. Say goodbye to the folks.
Arrivederci, douchebags.
See you, buddy.
See you, man.
That was fun. All right, we have some feedback on the interview. I'll just read real quick before we head into feedback. Robert Ironsky says, Tony really inspires me to keep working on my passions. And he says, every week since I started listening, you guys have impressed me with your guests. You guys definitely earned your spot in the top 5.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Robert.
And
That's
I have
very
to say,
sweet.
real quick, again, while I was bedridden, I very politely asked my special lady friend to carry the horror crossover encyclopedia over to bed. So got another whole read through, and
Bring it
I
here.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
And he also said, Robert says, I started reading Fangoria and Starlog when I was in middle school. The magazines were placed with the comics at my local corner store, and the covers always forced me to give up my paper route money.
Yeah, it was wild. See, another thing that you just that was an absolute true story. Like my Grammy would be like, "Here's $5, don't spend it all," and I'd buy everything on the spinner rack. And then next week I would buy Conan and Fangoria and Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
For me, it was like comic scene and Starlog like justified my hobbies to my parents because it was in a magazine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like Fangoria and Heavy Metal were like the dangerous magazines that I was allowed to buy.
Forgot about how much heavy metal I bought.
You know what I mean? Like before like, Braziers and 4-Tube, before the
I
internet.
think it's Braziers.
Well, I'm not sure what it's called. But you
Braziers are bras, I think.
Wait, you mean
actually.
Brazzers?
Yeah.
you guys don't fucking know. So I guess I'm wrong. But no,
Oh, you're
like,
talking about those big, like, no, never mind.
yeah, like the Jersey Braziers.
What?
Jesus Christ. So,
Porn.
Kill me.
we still have Tom C here. Tom C.
Why
we
is
have
he still here?
Raven Shadow Lungs in the chat room says, damn it, Tom C. Where's the monkey suit?
It's on the floor because it's fucking hot in here.
You still
the
got
suspenders are nice.
suspenders
That's a
are on.
nice
That's a
look.
nice look for you.
Guy. I
Yeah.
like this outfit.
What happened to you? You get more handsome.
My special lady friend commented that she thought Tom C was great today, so she was happy he was going to be on. She's excited to listen. So,
That's
I
my
didn't
nightmare.
really.
and that was after he wandered around my home, so I didn't know how anybody that lived there would take it. Looks like nasty, like nobody asked where Muttley was while you were there.
Rubbity runs.
Like
That's what MZ always says. Every time I say it now, I can't help it.
Rubbity round.
Nicholas posted on the Fib and said, great interview tonight. Very interesting. And then
That guy's cat's pajamas too.
he followed up by saying, you guys are like The Undertaker. The streak's alive on all awesome guests.
It's true.
Wow.
It's almost starting
Let's
to like.
never have Brock Lesnar on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a real interesting interview.
Raven Shadow Lung says, Tom C., don't ever stop being handsome, you handsome devilish cake.
It's true.
What the fuck is going on?
Is that? Wait a second. Is that him?
Raven Shadow, on the other hand,
Who said he didn't write that?
Wait a
Melissa
second.
Walsh says,
he
"Who
did.
is Tom C?"
What?
he's this
I don't
handsome
know.
devil.
Who the fuck is Tom C? Anybody know?
I don't know.
We should.
All right, we'll slow it down. Second episode.
It's funny when Tom C just got mad there. It sounded like somebody
She
was
says, why is he on?
"Oh man,
That is a good question. I don't know that this was the right episode. for
no,
it.
he's the fucking best. That's why Tom C is a big part of the Twilight Society, as we call our extended family, and like he's a
Yes, he sparkles.
he does. My Tommy sparkles and shines.
So Tom C might very well be, I don't know if he wants to admit this or not, he might very well be, he's definitely Monster Zero's biggest fan, but he might be Trick or Treat Radio's biggest fan.
Maybe.
back
I
in
don't
the
know.
day.
Although he hates us, so he hates us
I'm
now.
just saying there's some,
I feel like he likes me. You like me though, right? I'm no Monster Zero, but you like me fine, right?
Sure, I like all you guys. In
I brought you into the fuck. You're my son.
Listen to this fucking guy.
No, it sucks. No, Bobby Chase
whoa.
running amok, and this one,
You don't
I'm
have
your father's.
You don't have to constantly. You don't have to constantly
I think
remind
my throat
them.
sprung a leak.
You know, you pick your battles. You save that for the time when you really fucking need it. You don't every time. I fucking made you. I can take you down. I can destroy you. You don't have to remind him every time.
I'm just saying.
He's gonna resent you, and he's gonna fucking leave the coop.
Yeah.
She didn't know.
He's gonna be fucking at 7-Eleven.
Condoms everywhere.
I wasn't suggesting that. I don't like you guys. Just that there may be other fans that like you more.
I
Who
don't
knows?
know.
I mean, my voicemail technology doesn't match some of the other guys.
Well, you're not. But you're my. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
but it's
a
quantity over quality.
Yeah, you're a peer to me, Tom. Though, like like
peer?
and none of these people on the Fib, and none of the people like on these things. Like, I don't like that word fan. I don't like. We're just like we have this tremendous opportunity to do something I'm very passionate about, which doesn't happen anymore. I was talking to Wolfie and Ledger about it on the internet the other day, which is. We're experiencing that at the same time now. Now you can go listen to this as a podcast too, and I love that if you're one of those people that only do that, I love that. But I have to say, what really gets my juices flowing, if you will, is the fact that the people are there interacting right now, experiencing with us right now as a communal thing, which is something that doesn't fucking happen anymore.
It's the fucking Denny's table.
Well, there was no one that looked like Melissa at our Denny's table.
It'd be a lot cooler if it was. Melissa, are you hungry?
Yes.
Melissa would probably know me from the chat chat room there. Only
the post office, the wanted posters.
I can tell you that.
Although she does say, "I like your mustache, Tom."
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's able to be here because we are not within 50 feet of a school or park.
I'll tell you what, Tom C. Next time we have you on, because there will be next time.
Yeah, forever.
Not really soon.
I'll let you pick one of the flicks.
Oh snap!
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't. I think that's a bad. That's like don't let cornhole talk. Like, that's a bad. That's
Corn
a bad,
job.
It's
Corn
corn
job.
job.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea. Like that's a bad
Why?
idea, huh?
Why?
Because I don't know. I don't like that idea.
Yeah, but he has gotten a
All
pretty.
right, that can be the same
pretty raw
episode when we heroically resurrect the Roll the Bone segment and Raven Shadow gets his pick.
Oh snap!
That'll be the week that me and Wife and Shadow are on vacation. Unquote.
Go easy on me. I like some good movies too. Just.
I'm just worried. I know that you just the way you laugh with your sinister mustache.
Look at-
Robot Jock's origins.
Raven. You're gonna kill him.
Robot Jock's origins.
You're gonna fucking kill him. Raven Shadow Lung says, "Yes, Raven Shadow. It's just like Denny's."
I don't get the reference. What's this?
You enjoyed the film Robot Jocks?
Yes.
What? Roverjorx. What did you say? You can't fucking say Robot Jocks.
Roverjorx.
Roverjorx. Say Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks?
Do we not have any feedback? Because if we go
No,
on
we
the
do.
phone for
We do.
3 hours
We have a
'cause of-
lot.
because of
Top
Robot
5.
Jocks. Yeah.
Thanks,
Come on,
Tony.
Robot Jocks is worth every minute.
We have a lot of feedback, actually.
Yeah, but not his pronunciation of it.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
So, who do we want to hear from first?
Not Roverjorx. Listen, does anybody have any thoughts on Roverjorx?
Rover's a burger.
Of all the fucking shit you can't say,
Karate Rover's a burger.
Roverjorx.
look at what Raven Shadow Lung said.
What?
Roverjorx. He typed it out. Roverjorx.
I feel I said Robot Jocks.
I think
I said that.
is that the episode title? Roverjorx.
Rover verbal. I'm sorry, Lionel. I'm the Roverjorx.
Where's Achilles?
Where is Panthro? Michael Raven Shadow.
You do that too well.
Where is Mambra? It's pronounced Robot Jocks. He's gonna go watch a double feature of Robot in Last Spice.
I feel I said Robot Jocks.
Nicholas says, yes, a corn job reference. Thanks, Dynamo. Not
Who the fuck
cornhole.
is Corn Job? Did you ever figure that out?
No, I think he hangs out. I think you might know him because I think he hangs out with Chocolate Beast now and then.
Well, it ain't me if that's what you're suggesting.
I never told
I'm
you
not
that
saying
afterwards. After he hit me, he hit
Well,
me
you
during
met
the
Chocolate
episode
Beast.
and was like, "It's not me, it's not me." And I feel like we found out it was him, but he was adamant that it's not him.
I don't know who it is, but we do have voicemail from Anonymous, so I don't know who that is. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and listen to some feedback. All right, this is from Anonymous.
Anonymous Prong.
Hey, fellas. This is Jethro Nomicon.
Hey,
I'm
Jethro.
trying not to shout as much this time as last time it sounded awful. But I wanted to call and say thanks for answering my question about your favorite Saturday morning cartoons. Kind of brought back some memories. I forgot about the Gummy Bears cartoon. So, yay, Disney. Anyway, I just wanted to say thanks, and I just did. So, keep up the good work, and we'll talk later. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, Jethro Nomicon. We have, I think there's a follow-up from Jethro, so let's check that out.
Oh, by the way, this is Jethro Nomicon again, and I almost forgot to say, if you're inducting people into your Hall of Fame, I feel like the next choice should be James Hong. I'm sure you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China. Oh, I think he was in the second Wayne's World, even. He's done a million great movies, and he's still alive. So if you're looking to include another person soon, I vote James Hong. Catch you later.
Good choice.
That's actually not bad.
Is it too much to ask, Thunder? Kill him for me.
He's been in 401 movies.
This
Jesus
really
Christ.
pisses me off.
He
These
was
are my
in
fucking wedding videos. Fucking weird.
Blade Runner. Man.
He was in your honeymoon video.
Yeah, that was a weird time.
Your honeymoon video? What the fuck?
My wife's got green eyes. What did I tell you?
Wasn't he in the video for David Lopan style?
Yeah, I was thinking.
Oh.
I was like, Raven Shadow and his wife were tied up and made him recite lines to him. That was the pillow talk.
He was in The Golden Child. Obviously, he was David Lopan, most notably.
You can't call that movie that today.
He was Airwolf. He was in Airwolf. He wasn't Airwolf.
He was
in
Airwolf.
it.
He was the helicopter.
What was his name? Michael Shaw. Whatever.
He was in the A-Team.
J. Michael Vincent.
Tales from the Dark Side.
Missing in action.
Yeah.
Man, this guy.
This is like when Sang was trying to tell me about a movie that had Chris Rock in it the other day, and he kept calling it Kid Rock. Holy shit! Michael Raven Shadow got to talk to Sing Sang Soon on the phone, and Sing Sang Soon gave him the diss.
Sing Sing Sound.
Yeah, he said.
Can
I
we
said-
not pronounce names tonight?
I said, "Hey, Sing Sang Soon, here's Michael Raven Shadow. Say hello." And I think he said hello, and then threw the phone back at me.
That was him?
Yeah.
He can't pronounce his own name. He's like,
It's true.
Sing Fuzon.
Sing Fuzon. Let's see here. So that was from Jethro Nomicon, and that's a good one. We'll take that under consideration. I'm not sure when we're going to do the
voicemail
next.
that doesn't end up with us singing is a good one.
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to do the next Hall of Heroes, but we'll definitely take that under consideration.
We got to honestly, I was thinking of it today. We got to get John Carpenter to fuck in the Hall of Heroes before.
Yeah,
not too happy.
exactly.
Wait, to fuck in the hall? Like, leave
No.
condoms?
No, I would sleep with John Carpenter, yeah, but that's not what I mean. It's not even a question.
Speaking of Saturday morning cartoons,
or Clive Barker. This is bad.
Speaking of
people I'd sleep with.
Saturday morning cartoons, and speaking of singing, we did get a voicemail from Wooberman. It might help if I unmute that motherfucker. There we go.
Greetings, gentlemen. Your lovely limey bastard Wooberman here. It'd be completely remiss for me to post onto your Facebook and tell everybody to send in 80s cartoon theme tunes in their own wonderful karaoke style if I didn't do it myself. So that being said, would like to join me on some DuckTales?
Oh, yeah.
Wait till the music stops just now.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a duck blur. might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo! Every day they're out there making DuckTales, woo! Tales of daring, do bad, and good DuckTales, woo! The danger lurks behind you. There's a stranger out to find you. What to do? Just jab onto some DuckTales, woo! Every day
Spotlight on Raven Shadow.
making DuckTales, woo! Tales of daring, do bad, and good DuckTales, woo!
Bangs and mash.
Not ponytails, not cottontails, no DuckTales, woo! Fuck yes.
Fuck yeah!
That's your version.
England.
That was a good one. Oh, thank you, Wooberman. Oh,
Manchester.
but no, wait. Wooberman is not done.
I hope that there's more music so it could confirm this, but I want everyone from now on to notice that Michael Ravenshadow dances like Courtney Cox in Bruce Springsteen's
yes.
Bruce Springsteen's
Dancing
dancing in
to
the
the
dark
Dark.
video. This Cox for hire.
Very cocky.
Even though I'm completely in the dark.
Couldn't be more whiter.
All right, let's hear from Wooberman.
I'll burst in fire.
Part
I'll
two.
light on fire with a spark.
One more? One more.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I don't recognize it yet.
Wait for it.
Dynamo Mars has a fucking hole in his neck, but he won't die. Life keeps beating him fucking down, but he's still alive. Johnny's gonna run the podcast. MZ's got those dick sucking lips. We're not gonna talk about her Michael Raven Shadow. That guy is a festering wart on humanity. I didn't think past this point of making fucking lyrics. Come see the laser rays far away.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Called you a festering wart.
On humanity.
Not the worst thing that was said to me today.
You sleeping on the couch tonight?
I ain't the fucking. It's fucking comfy, Johnny.
Wow.
But have I ever mentioned that I appreciate you making room for me in your bed? Like,
Listen, hey.
What?
So not only does Wooberman give us money, he gives us content and he gives us songs.
Shit.
What more could we ask for?
More money.
Shut up, you idiot. You're such an ungrateful bastard. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do they have nougat in England?
I would hope so. It would be a very drab place to live.
Well,
oh, man. Wooberman, thank you.
Thank you,
Seriously, you're the
Wooberman.
fucking best, man. Thank you. When you come across the pond here, come hang out with us, all right?
See, green card's flowing on the side.
Come to Rocket Slock. You can sleep.
Rocket Slock?
Come to Rocket Slock and see Roverjorx.
Come see Roverjorx at Rocket Slock.
Friday night, they play Roverjorx and Last Boys.
Actually, I think Charles Band was at Rocket Shock a couple years ago.
Last Boys.
Last Boys.
Is that our new movie, The Last Boys?
Last Boys.
Roverjorx.
Last Boys.
Last Boys at Rocket Slock.
A couple weeks ago, that's how he was pronouncing Last Boys. Yeah, go and watch The Last Boys.
Raven Shadow Lung says, yes, DuckTales. Yes, motherfucker. Yes. Oh, this is pure joy, fuckers. Robert E. Ronsky says, DuckTales is one of the best theme songs ever.
Without a doubt.
And Raven Shadow Lung says, Chocolate Beats better come with a song, too.
Oh, snip.
Who's Chocolate Beats?
Well, that's what the Chocolate Beast raps to, isn't it?
Give me your beats. Your beats. Beats.
Oh, yes. I don't know about tonight.
Oh, boy. That was...
You got the inside track on the CB, huh?
No, I was just, I don't know.
You just have his number, right? You text him?
Yeah, I text him sometimes.
He's like the Peter Parker
can
of
he
the Chocolate
text?
Beast.
He could text. He just takes him a long time, but he gets it together.
He's like a one-finger texter.
Yep.
Till the now gets sticking.
Nougat is bad for iPhones.
Roverjorx. Last Boys.
Rocket Shock.
So
I'm in a bad mood. I'm gonna go watch The Last Boys.
Okay, so I mean,
that's what he said, right? He's like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go watch Last
The Lost Boys has been reviewed to death, obviously, since it come out. But how about on
Not
that,
The Last Boys.
how about that show? You review The Last Boys, and I'll bring on Roverjorx.
Roverjorx. It sounds like what the Last Boys sounds like the band that would be opening up for like Blues Traveler in like 1993.
Where the Last Boys go.
You know, like the Spin Doctors who look like Blues Traveler but not as handsome.
That was amazing. Last Boys, Roverjorx.
I feel I said robot jokes.
Oh, Raven Shot Along says Tom C is the Nougat dealer.
Oh, snip.
Are you? You dealing Nougat?
Dealing Nougat?
Sorry.
Door Nougat?
I'm a trifle deaf in this year. You have to speak louder next time.
Too much Nougat in that ear.
You're like, what's his name from Lost River?
All right.
The Last River.
We have...
Last River.
Oh, we heard from Creepy Girl.
Oh, snip. That's a fucking voice, man. Finally a girl.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Deadites. This is Creepy Girl. I just got something to say about Contracted.
Okay, good.
When the first one came out, I remember I reviewed it, and I was really confused at why the girl
was a zombie.
Was so many gross, disgusting things were happening to her, but no one was reacting to it. Like even, I mean, peeing blood and all that, and she goes to the doc like, it's nothing. And so I remember having a texting conversation, and I'm pretty positive it was Eric England. And he told me his vision of that movie was, it was like the girl's perception of what was going on. So everybody else wasn't seeing what she was seeing. She was in a very exaggerated thing that was happening, and it wasn't actually what happening. If you remember when she went to work and they were just like, oh, you don't feel good, and she like looked totally like almost like a zombie, and they were just like, oh, you're sick, oh, it's okay, you can go out and serve people like that. And because she was seeing a totally different thing. And even at the end, when you guys saw the zombie, that's not what was actually happening. That was everybody's perception of what was happening. I'm telling you, I got to find this conversation because it's going to drive me crazy, because I remember that's what he told me.
Oh, it did get cut off there.
Fucking blown.
The sequel shot that right down.
But like if you all right, let's say that is what he meant to do. There was some poor delivery there, and also, and keep in mind, I love watching the Creepy Girl's YouTube reviews, and I can't wait for her to come back and have hopefully have another program soon. Like, I am a big fan of her, and I am a big fan of her opinion, but if that's what he says, and I believe that that's what he said to you, that makes me like it less. Because that was a fucking zombie. That was my perception of it, is 100% correct. But then if that's not happening, why did they fucking shoot her? Like, doesn't make any sense. That's a zombie. The guy that made it's wrong. Creepy Girl's wrong. And this dopey asshole that sat next to me all night is wrong.
Well, no, like what? Maybe so. She's saying that she was just like a big pain in the ass.
What?
Well, no. Wolfie actually, if you go back and listen to our review, basically said that same thing. Like people saw in her what they wanted to, and she was seeing like a different thing. He actually hit on that point.
But it's kind of like a girl saying, like, well, I'm fat.
But at the end, she turned into a zombie.
What if she was drinking? And she crashed the car because she was drinking?
Then why did, like...
Bath salts.
Oh,
you
my
should,
fucking
you
God.
should know
Seriously,
better.
No.
You should know better than anybody.
No.
They don't fucking cap people for drunk driving.
Not yet.
They might start with you.
Slow it down. We haven't played the
So-
Friday show yet.
All right, that's episode 78. If you guys want to go back to listen to that, who contracted the zombie gene? That was from January 24th, 2014. We don't need to revisit that. I definitely appreciate Creepy Girl giving us that information because I know she was trying to get it across in chat, and we just had to rush through the discussion because we had Tony coming up. But it is interesting to hear that. I if that's what the director wanted, I disagree. I think it's a bad way to go about it. My take is that I like it better if people don't pay attention to her because they're so concerned with their own lives. Yeah. You know, I think that works better.
I
but
agree.
All right.
What you said.
The fact that there's all this, what's going on, kind of makes it, in my opinion, a pretty bad movie. You know, if it's that confusing and messy.
Yeah, I mean,
this is not.
I'm all for keeping it open for
Holy
interpretation.
It ain't fucking Inception.
Yeah. I'm open for keeping it open for interpretation, but that is like opposite ends of the spectrum almost. You know, so
it was better than Van Helsing.
That's true. It was.
It was.
Actually, I don't know. I've never seen Van Helsing. I probably should see it. All right. We also got a voicemail from Nicholas, our boy.
Oh, snap. What's up, Nick?
Let's hear from him.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio.
What's up,
Nick
Nick?
here. I got a little message here for Dynamo.
Oh.
Oh, you're gonna lose your soul.
He's taking his shirt off.
You're gonna lose your soul.
Gonna take his pants off.
You're gonna lose your soul tonight. Oh, you're gonna lose control tonight. You're gonna lose control. You're gonna lose control tonight. The cars.
Nice underwear.
Wow. He serenaded you, Dynamo.
I know.
Sexy, right?
I am hotter than a whore in a church.
On Sunday.
On Sunday.
So Nicholas actually sent us an email as well.
Nice.
So he actually had some issues sending the voicemail, but he was able to send the voicemail. But let me read his email anyways. He says, "Hey, Trick or Treat Radio. Nicholas here. I was trying to use SpeakPipe, but I can't get it to work, so I'm sending an email. I wanted the voicemail to work because I was going to sing Dynamo Lose Your Soul by Dead Man's Bones, but there you go." He says, P.S. The shit that comes out of Monsters Hero's mouth are so borderline offensive, it makes me roll on the floor laughing on the shit that comes out of his mouth. Yeah.
The irony is he really thinks that I'm the sexist weird one. Like, he believes it.
Let me find. I think I have a clip to prepare for. So Nicholas also says, one of the favorites I've heard recently was, "I couldn't get lucky standing outside a women's prison with a fistful of 50s and a bouquet of dildos." Now he said that about himself. Holy shit! I couldn't stop laughing. Great show as always, guys. Keep up the great work, Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas. That was fucking amazing. When I read Nicholas's email, I ended up on the floor laughing because I totally forgot about that fucking quote. Do you guys mind if I remember if I sampled that or not?
I don't know.
You should.
Yeah.
What episode was that from?
One of the ones before.
What just happened? Thank you.
I felt like I channeled Raven Shadow because he said it.
We're in a stage in Rhode Island in this new club, and the show didn't go very well. No one that hasn't seen me naked was in the club except for a mean midget. And we obviously couldn't have extras there, so I had to sing a part of Covered in Blood that I've never sang before. I did a dramatic spin, turned to Miss M with my back to the verse and said, "What is the first verse of Covered in Blood?" To which very helpfully she said, "It's not the clown one," and pirouetted away. And that it was one before was the Trick or Treat Radio equivalent to "It's not the clown one."
But that's got to be one of the best quotes. I need to track that one down. We got to
add that on the bet. I hope I can't. I hope it's instant. I didn't hear it, but some of those episodes, like, I didn't hear everything. You know, I was just listening for a particular voicemail or something like that. You know.
Maybe Nicholas can let us know which episode that was because I forget.
Oh, we need like a wall of quotes.
You know what I do? Speaking of the wall, I would love to. I have some Fangos that MZ gave me years and years ago before I think maybe before I even met you guys. I would love to try to get those framed and put those on the wall.
Yeah,
It makes sense now with the connection with Tony Timpone and the influence that it had on us. So definitely. Melissa comments in the chat room, says, you guys need to have him on the show. And yes, you're right, Wolfie. That's right. When he explains, it makes sense. So it was so long ago, that's why I need to find it. I'm old, but I do remember him saying she wasn't a zombie. And it cut off all the lovely stuff I said about your show. Aww. That's too bad. You get 90 seconds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
And you're not old. You're a baby kid.
A baby kid?
Well,
what does that make me then?
Sorry, you are a sperm.
All right. We also
you are
heard
a Monster Zero film fetus.
we also heard from Dynamo shot Raven Shadow dead.
I wish.
But I didn't shoot the deputy.
So let's take a listen.
Inspector asshole. Raven Shadow takes cameras. Inspector dirtbag. It's you. Raven Shadow smokes camels. Stop, drop and roll, Raven Shadow, your minivan is on fire. It's in flames. Mars, Dynamo, get the shotgun. He's like a rabid dog. Shoot him. No, don't shoot him, Mom. Wolfie. Tell Dynamo to put the shotgun that he's gonna shoot Raven Shadow like a rabid dog. No, don't kill Raven Shadow. Don't shoot him.
That guy's songs get so off the rails, it's insane.
Oh my God, what the fuck has happened?
What just happened?
Inspector Asshole.
Inspector Asshole.
Inspector Patronus.
What just happened?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ.
was a weird voicemail.
That was a weird voicemail.
Oh, real quick, I just got a text from Chocolate Beast. He's on his way.
He is?
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to... I don't think he's going to be here in time, but he wanted to come by and just say hello.
That wouldn't be the weirdest fucking thing to happen.
Yeah, that's surprisingly normal.
That was the voicemail equivalent of nougat.
What's
Nougat?
Nougat.
This has definitely been one of the most ridiculous shows we've had in a while.
It's got to be... You got to name it Roverjorx.
You have to copy and paste that spelling, though?
Roverjorx.
And Rocket Schlock.
Rocket Schlock.
No, it was Rockin'
Schlock.
Was it Schlock?
I feel I said
Or
Schlock.
Rockin' Snot.
I feel I'm saying the words.
Rockin' Slot.
Well, no, like contracted, like it's just your perception of what you're saying.
That's just like your perception, man.
I feel.
We'll fix it in post.
No, we won't. Oh man! All right, so I think that's it for voicemails.
Oh, that would be best.
We finished it off with Inspector Asshole.
Can you save that so anytime he says something that pisses everyone off, just go, Inspector Asshole.
Oh my God!
Take these broken wings.
Oh, Nicholas called out that quote on the fib earlier this
Yeah,
week.
we
I think, as well.
gotta make sure we find that one for the best of too.
Yeah.
It's so hot. I don't want to call names because I fucking forget people, but there's been some motherfuckers coming
I
up like
really
7
did spring a leak, by the way.
It's fucking everywhere. It's ridiculous. Can we fucking get some napkins?
No. I don't want to see that.
There's Nugget in there.
Melissa says, Dynamo, be careful. You're going to hurt yourself.
Too late, Melissa.
Feel that fucking whatever was in their heel and running down my neck.
We should probably go to urgent care.
There they are.
He just started yelling.
Raven Shadow 1 says Raven Shadow is Inspector Asshole.
Inspector Asshole. Camels. Inspector Dirtbag. It's you. Raven Shadow smokes camels. Stop, drop, and roll. Raven Shadow, your minivan is on fire. It's in flames. Mars, Dynamo, get the shotgun. He's like a rabid dog. Shoot him. No, don't shoot him, Mom. Woofy. Tell Dynamo to put the shotgun, but he's gonna shoot Raven Shadow like a rabid dog. No, don't kill Raven Shadow. Don't shoot him.
Don't shoot him. Is he saying that I'm smoking in the minivan, the minivan's on fire?
Yeah, stop, drop, and roll.
And now that I'm on fire, he's telling Monster Zero and Dynamo to shoot me?
Yes.
Put me out, motherfucker. Get some asbestos.
They'll piss on you. That reminds me of something that would have been recorded by the Beatles in their fucking drug days. Jesus.
Get Ringo off the roof.
I had those mustaches.
Yoko's gone. We can party again.
Ringo, come down.
All right, we got to think about ending. We got to think about ending this fucking thing.
Fuck, let's marathon. Let's fucking sell some shit.
I really can't believe I tore my neck open.
Jiminy Cricket.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It looked better before.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, we got to take down to the hospital.
Get the gauze.
Yeah.
Melissa says, "Stop! You're gonna kill Dynamo."
I did have a trivia question ready, but I don't know if we're gonna get to it because this guy needs attention.
Do you need attention, or are you good?
Where's the doctor? I'll be okay. It's only. I mean, I don't know.
As long as the questions aren't funny, Tom.
No, I don't think so. But.
All right. You know what we'll do, Tom? We'll finish off the tweets.
Oh, sorry, I forgot the tweets.
And then what we'll do is we'll do that. We'll end with trivia.
Sure.
So we did hear from Wooberman, who obviously we heard from earlier. He says, the tweet says, after hearing Mars and Raven Shadow rocking Gummy Bears, let's send in renditions of classic cartoon themes as a voicemail. And he did. So he's a man true to his word. So thank you for that. And also we heard from Ted Giogogan, who I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he got in touch with us so we could get the screener link for Deathgasm. So we're going to read that next week. So thank you to Dark Sky Films for that. All right, that was the trick or tweet moment.
No. It was he's not here, but like maybe you can do impersonation for us.
Give us your tweets. Your tweets.
You want me to do an impersonation?
Yeah. Can you do it?
Of the tweet thing?
Yep.
Give us your tweets. Your tweets.
Wow.
Tweets. Give us your tweets or face the chocolate, please.
Wow.
Pretty fucking
Jeez,
good.
that's good.
I thought fucking, Andy Christ was in the room.
Yeah, that's really fucking good,
You might
Tom.
get pissed that I'm taking his spot, though.
Just stand out of Tyrannosaurus arm length.
Oh, by the way, our boy Nick said the Fistful of Dildos was episode 145.
All right, thanks, Nicholas.
Thank you, brother.
And by the way, somehow Raven Shadow is going to have to finish the best of because I think that Nicholas and Inspector Asshole killed me.
That was the secret convergent of sexy Cyclops.
Oh, that is on the list.
All right. What list would that be?
If you go on Trick or Treat Radio right
the one
now,
that the police are.
There is a list of 40 or 50 of the episodes where I am like drawing material for
the best of.
For the best of. So. And I put the Leprechaun one and the Contracted one as the first two because those are the ones. Leprechaun, Contracted, and Silly String Sorceress are the ones that I get the most like feedback about. Mostly because that's the one where it became very apparent that Michael Raven Shadow was not watching the movie.
Raven Shadow Lung says, "Wow, it's uncanny." Talking about the Chocolate Beast
It's pretty fucking good.
impersonations. It's really good.
Join the X-Men.
So, Tom C., we have you here. Let's take advantage of some trivia. You have some stuff for us? Yes.
Yeah. You mean right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
No, next
All right,
week when you're not on the show.
I did have. Well, isn't
I don't know why Raven Shadow's so fucking funny.
isn't that when I usually send in trivia? Asshole. I got one though. Sorry. I do have one. It's
okay.
It does have to do with an '80s cartoon as well.
Oh, okay.
What early '80s film spawned He-Man and the Masters of the Universe?
Oh, I know this. It was supposed to be a...
Wait, you're not talking about Cyborg?
Shit.
No. Cyborg was going to be the sequel to the movie.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. Yeah.
Your?
Huh?
Your?
What's your?
That's my answer. Y-O-R.
Peppermint patties.
Y-O-U-R.
Your peppermint patties.
Roverjorx.
Wait, what's the question again?
The question is, what early 1980s film inadvertently created the He-Man and Masters of the Universe franchise?
What early 80s film inadvertently created the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe franchise?
Yep.
He-Man was 82, 83.
Is it Beastmaster?
No, good guess, but no.
I still think Yor. If you look at the cover,
I'm going
of
to say...
Yor.
I know I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to say Krull.
No.
Hawk the Slayer.
Another good one, though. Do you guys want to keep guessing or just want to know?
Is this are you just saying this or is this real?
This is both. I'm saying it and it's real.
Are you just saying words?
Get
No.
the shotgun.
No, this is real.
What? Shit.
I can't believe you guys are not guessing this movie, though, honestly.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to be a dick, but...
The fucking one with fucking Sean Connery.
Called what?
Not Highlander.
No, when he was in the
Zaroff?
yeah, the
shirtless Zardoz?
Zardoz.
Is that the movie name of the movie?
Yeah.
No.
Is the name of the movie?
I can suspect when you don't know the movie we're talking about, that's not the answer. Like, I'm waiting for the time where it's like, Yor. Well, let me consult my trivia. Nope, not Yor.
I'm gonna pass. I don't know.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna pass.
I think you're making it up.
Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, no. What I mean is Conan the Barbarian. Whatever the toy company that made He-Man was going to make
Mattel, right?
Mattel, I think, was going to make a line of Conan action figures. But when they saw the movie and realized it was R-rated, adult nudity, all that stuff, they realized we can't market this to kids, so they gave him blonde hair and called him He-Man.
But you know what I mean? Had a hard time with the introduction of Prince Adam.
I am leaking from my neck.
It might be time to get him some help.
He-Man was always He-Man.
I'm going off like a water wiggle
All
from
right.
the wrong end.
But
don't care.
Just because Prince Adam wore kind of like poofta clothes, he doesn't even have glasses on.
The Prince Adam
Oh shit! Robert E. Ronsky guessed it.
Oh, did he?
In the chat room, yeah. I missed it.
Oh, you should get your own podcast, right?
He should.
The
He'd be
Prince
good.
Adam thing, becoming He-Man, it kind of reminds me the reverse of like Thor and whatever his alter ego is.
Don Blake.
Yeah. Did
Eric
anyone
Masterson.
else see that Scream Factory is putting out two Mars and Michael Raven Shadow classics? The covered early on Dungeon Master.
Ooh.
Where I replace your script with my own. And
nice.
And Exterminators.
Oh, that's my joint.
Yeah.
The Exterminator or Exterminators?
Exterminators.
I just got this from Shout Factory. Anybody? Scream Factory?
I'm excited to Sentinel. I've never seen it.
You've never seen the Sentinel?
In the Mike Tomsey.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's the
That's all right.
Sentinel. The Sentinel.
That movie only exists as number 58 of the scariest moments in film.
Which I think Tony
Somebody just threw a rock at the house.
I believe Tony was on that thing. But yeah, this one is.
Yeah, he was.
This no, this isn't a double tap. But sorry, it's not exactly The Omen or The Exorcist, but it is a lesser known gem. I think worth looking at.
I've heard of it.
Oh yeah,
It's
okay.
fun. It's
Yeah.
got a crazy cast. It's got like
It's Christopher Walken.
Christopher
right?
Walken,
Yeah.
Eli Wallach, all kinds of people.
Yeah, it's
Chris Sarandon, everyone.
What?
It's got what's his name? Who was in Jaws? He played the marine biologist.
Fucking Dreyfus?
Yeah, it's got Richard Dreyfuss standing in the back for a few seconds.
Oh, it's got Burgess Meredith.
Burgess Meredith. It's got
Crap, lightning and piss
It's
thunder.
got a naked old man walking around, which was the scary scene.
I also wanted to show off this. This is this movie I mentioned, Absentia.
Absentia is very good.
I don't know if you didn't like it.
No, I did.
Oh, you did. I don't know if anyone, any of you guys have seen it besides him, but it's got the guy who plays the bad guy in this Phase 2 movie.
I had a friend of mine just recently go on, like, just, they were somewhere for something else, and they happened to come across the tunnel where a lot of that happened. Yeah, I got that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that would have got vandalized if I had got a chance to open it and watch
That's my
it.
joint right there.
I just happen to have this. I did have Roverjorx on Blu-ray with me, but I let somebody borrow
You mean
it.
Roverjorx?
Roverjorx.
You know what's awesome? I let the robot from Philadelphia borrow my copy of Jodorowsky's Dune, and I had forgot about it, and she mailed it back the other day because she forgot to give it to me before she went back to Philadelphia, and otherwise it would have got vandalized. So how lucky am I? My Dune is still intact. Yeah.
Would have been #1 flick of last year for us
Tiny had shown
if
up.
Tiny had shown up.
What do you mean
Cold
by
in
that?
July.
Why did he have to?
Did you and I pick that?
I don't remember who picked what.
It was my
but
#1 film, and it
was
would have been
ours
Tiny's,
2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, it would have been Tiny's #1 or 2, which would have brought.
He hadn't seen it by the time we did our votes, though.
What happened? What ended up being #1?
I don't remember.
Space Chimps.
Space Chimps. I'll look it up. I'll look up and see what our
Guardians
#1
of the
flick.
Galaxy. I think it might have been.
This is
No,
getting pretty
it wasn't.
rambly. Sorry.
Hey, welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Yeah, what the fuck? You do double tap segments. You're doing your own thing over here.
But it's worse because I hijacked the show.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, this guy's not feeling good.
With some napkins.
Number children. I'd start.
Tom C. Shamwow.
I didn't bleed out of my neck for so long it healed. I just didn't want to get anything on my outside the cinema shirt.
Top 5 podcasts.
No, they should be.
Would Halloween special? No, it's not Halloween. We did year end, right? Is that?
Yeah. The year-end countdown probably wouldn't be on Halloween.
What the fuck was it? It wasn't Snowpiercer, was it?
Oh.
It wasn't Blue Ruin.
I own that one too. That's a good one.
It was something. It was something like. It was something that wasn't was number 20 or something on my list. Killers maybe or.
No.
Not #1.
It was something that was very low on my list, I think.
I think an inclusion of like a big budget flick fucked up.
No, because you didn't. Because we had a fight. Because for some weird,
Big surprise.
some weird machinations that you were unable to describe to me. For some reason, I was not going to allow you to put Guardians of the Galaxy on the list, even though I thought that Guardians of the Galaxy should be on the list. And I still don't know what fucking happened there.
I'm going back, so you guys just keep talking amongst yourself. I'm trying to look and find.
Are we going on 4 hours
Bambaleo,
now?
Bambaleo.
I thought we were close to being done on time.
We are. No, we're
we're-
over. We're like
we could be
almost
over.
a half hour over.
Over. Gotta go.
I can't believe I was on the same show as Tony. It's like,
Yeah, it's
why
crazy,
is
right?
no,
Neither can he. He's actually pissed the fuck off about it.
No, I'm saying why bother have me on? I mean,
No, because we had the opportunity to hang out with you, and that was awesome.
fair enough.
We do like you.
I know.
We're in a strange, odd minority, but we do like you.
An odd minority.
Are you really looking for this movie right now while I'm fucking dying?
Are you really dying?
Huh?
Can somebody seriously get him out of here? He sounds like he really wants to go.
Shit. I
You
thought
gotta
I
go-
found
you
it, but
gotta
I
go to the
didn't.
What? No, it's fine. What? It is weird that but that's good because there's a little bit of swelling, so hopefully some of that is out now.
You just laughed it out of you.
I feel that.
Feel that.
Put it on MZ's mic. Subtracted 4.
Jesus.
I'll learn if I leave it early.
All right. Is there anything else, Raven Shadow? You have anything before
No,
we go?
I
need
think,
to
I think we're about due.
do for what?
I gotta eat, man.
It's really,
now it is going to bother me when it fucking.
I found it. Hold
No,
on.
thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Tiny's number one was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh god.
That was last
He
year.
didn't even. Yeah, he didn't have Cold in July on there at all.
Yeah,
Right.
Because you know why? Because he
hadn't watched it yet.
Because he quit.
Oh, what the fuck, guys?
Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah, Jodorowsky's Dune.
Number one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good fucking choice.
Then Snowpiercer.
Oh, it was Snowpiercer
And
was
then-
number 2, right?
Yeah, and then
that
Blue,
was very low on my list. I
and then Blue Ruin.
Right.
The Raid 2, Guardians of the Galaxy.
And Cold in July was like
6.
yeah.
Okay.
Because that was my number one. I think it was. I think my
Cold in July would have been like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
no, it
Cold
would
in-
have been 2.
Cold in July was my number 1. I think and Dune was my number 2.
I don't understand the love for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I just watched it again the other day.
I don't hate it. I just didn't love it. I don't get it.
I like it more now.
Yeah.
All right, so Raven Chow, you got nothing. Tom C, anything you want to say or do before we close up the show?
I did want to drop a little something. It's not happening yet, but a friend of mine and I, he's a film school graduate. We are talking about starting our own little podcast.
That'd be
shindig
amazing.
thing.
That's exciting to me.
So we're brainstorming about what it's going to be. Blah blah blah. I'm sure it's going to have a lot to do with film, but regardless, we're gathering ourselves and we'll see what happens.
Very cool.
Exciting.
Best of luck to you on that endeavor. And, of course, if you need any assistance from us, just let us know.
Absolutely. I'm also going to be in a movie on Saturday.
Whoa.
It's not a big deal. That same friend is just doing a little short film, and I'm playing the character of the killer.
Lots of exposition needed for that one, huh?
And if he ends up putting it on disc or something, maybe I can give it to you guys. Take a look just for a goof.
Sure. We'll take a look. We'll have the first ever Trick or Treat Radio Film Fest, maybe. All right. So, Dynamo.
Let's make some movies.
Dynamo, before we take you to the hospital, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap things up?
Nope.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and wrap things up then?
I think I'll have to say that I will PayPal you the money for the extra half hours of every single week for the last 3 weeks later on. Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to episode 165 of Trick or Treat Radio. This was a fucking blast. Thank you to Tony Timpone. That guy is a legend, and it was an honor for us to have him on the show and to speak with him. And, thank you. No thank you to Contracted 2.
But thank you guys again for having me on.
You're very welcome, Tom. We'll have you on again, and we'll let you pick a film next time.
Sweet.
Also, the ink isn't dry yet, but I'll just go ahead and say it anyways. Next week we're gonna have a guest in studio. Our good friend, he's pretty much the go-to person for Euro and Italian horror. Our good friend Mike Baronis is going to be joining us to talk about his contributions to a book about Lucio Fulci he just put out. So the dude, he's a fucking awesome dude. Anyways, he knows everything there is to know about Italian cinema. It'll be a fucking blast to have him on. So we're going to have him on, and we're going to talk about Deathgasm. So everyone, be sure to check us out next week.
Wait.
What?
Sorry. One thing I forgot. I guess it could be off air.
That's fucking great, Tom C. Fucking believable.
All right, go buy stuff on the store, and we'll see you guys next week. See ya.